Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Season 4 finals for the 10th point. And there appears to be. Let me. What is going on here? Oh boy. Okay, we fixed that. I am, as usual, your host, the Red Mage, and joining me on the line today are our 5 finalists for the Season 4. We have Arakasi, Croc, Luca, Para, and this is great. And Rayu, right. Sorry. Really sorry about that. Hi, guys. All say hi at once and make some noise. I don't know.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Goodbye.
All right, so what is this? Basically, we have been playing for the entire season. We have been going on. We have players have set up playing some powerful magic. We have a standing at the end of the season. Arakasi ended up dominating most of the most of the season, winning a bunch of events with his blue-black tempo deck. We had Para, who finished second with largely by playing Paradox Academy, and then we had a cluster of 3 players at the bottom, with Ryu in third, Luca in fourth, and Croc in fifth, if I remember correctly. And which have played a variety of deck. Croc famously has this dartboard that he uses to select a deck every time. I believe that's how he went about it today as
60%
well.
of the time, it works every time.
Ryu has played, a variety of different decks, but with a little bit more consistency to it. Luca has an extremely spicy madness that he has piloted to good success. We've had an eventful season, and today we are going to be playing the end of it. For those that have seen the end of season 3, this is gonna be we're gonna have a double elimination gauntlet. So essentially, the idea is that our 4th and 5th seed will play each other. The winner of that will play our 3rd seed, and the winner of that will play our 2nd seed, and so on until the last man standing faces Arakasi. Except that we're going to play that as double elimination bracket, so the loser just gets knocked down to the loser's bracket, and eventually we're going to have a loser's finalist that's going to be up there. There's gonna face with the winner of Arakasi versus the survivor of the gauntlet, and that's gonna be our grand finals. So basically, the idea is that you have to lose twice in order to get knocked out. The person that is the last man standing will be the winner of the season and will be lauded and congratulated. Season 3 champion was Gosmith, which has henceforth been referred to uniquely as Season 3 champion Gosmith. In the meantime, so our first match of the evening is going to be Croc versus Luca. On commentary, we are gonna have
I'll be joining commentary this round. Pero.
As do I.
Alrighty. So we have.
And you all got me if you care to have me pipe in as well.
I mean, we can. For the season aficionados, this is Lowman, of course. He's gonna join us with commentary at the very least for rounds 3 and 4, since we are gonna have rounds 3 and 4 happen. We're gonna have 2 matches happen concurrently for rounds 3 and 4, so that's gonna end up informing like that we're gonna need another man. He'll probably just gonna hang out in rounds 1 and 2 because why not? So while I set things up a little bit around here, why don't you guys talk a little bit about what Canadian Highlander is and what we're doing and all of that stuff? And I will remind people that if they want to join the 10th point for next season, your best bet is to join our Discord that I just posted a link in chat, or there's going to be a link down in the show notes if you're watching this on YouTube, and that is your best resources. We are going to be posting probably for next season a timing poll with where people can tell us what times are available, what time potential contestants have available, so that we can find a solution that works for everybody. We run this every season just because new people show up, schedules change, so that we want to make sure that basically every season we have a time that works well for me, but also for everybody else involved. So that's the idea there. I don't have the poll ready yet, so I can't link it in chat. Sorry, but you can go to the Discord and keep an eye out for in the tournament's announcement discussion, so that in the tournament announcement channel. Either way, yeah, you guys talk a little bit about what Canadian Highlander is, and I'm gonna finish setting things up so that we can get started.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those of you who don't know, Canadian Highlander is a 100-card singleton format using the vintage ban list. So no dexterity cards, no anti-cards, no silver border, no Scheherazade. And then within that deck construction, there's also a list of pointed cards, varying from 1 point for some simple tutors, crop rotation, or some of the powerful card advantage spells like Dig Through Time, Treasure Cruise, and then ranging up to 7 points for some of the most busted cards like Time Vault and Recall, I believe is 7. And
Lotus is also 7 points.
Yeah, so you get you're allowed up to 10 points in your deck, and so there's a lot of different options for what you can build. A lot of people are tempted to compare it to Commander just because of the 100-card singleton rule, but realistically, the better comparison, and the one that I use all the time, is it's more like Vintage Cube constructed.
Yes, it is an important distinction that it is a 1v1 20 life format, because you hear 100-card singleton, and sometimes you think, Commander.
Yeah,
but no, we're here to kill each other.
Yeah, so there's a lot of variety in the format. Just today as well, going over the match or the decks that people are playing, we have Luca's on 4-color Madness, Croc is on a Rug Tempo deck, I'm on Demir Vault Academy, or Akasti's on Blue-Black Tempo, I believe, and Ryu's on Medium Golgari. So you can see there's a pretty big spread of decks. Then there's a ton of other really good archetypes that aren't represented today, just in a small sampling. We don't really have like a aggro deck, but those are very good in the format. Definitely would be a good matchup against all of the decks that are running today. So
even 5-color mid-range value piles work.
Yeah, I mean, Croc went 3-0 in one of the 10th point tournaments with 5-color Niv Mizzet. So there's a lot of experimentation in the format.
I'm gonna interrupt you right there for a little bit. I'm having some stream problems capturing MTGO, so I'm gonna have to actually restart the stream super quick. So we're gonna have to go down for 30 seconds. We're gonna be right back. But I just wanted to let people know that sadly is gonna have to happen, and we're gonna immediately be back. I'm sorry about this. We'll be back in a second. Sorry.
Yeah.
And we are back. Sorry about that. And now my camera is gone, but who cares? We're gonna fix that. I'll fix it in post, by which I mean I will not actually fix it in post. Alright. Where is MTGO? There he is. Perfect. Okay, sorry. Resume your previous train of thought. I'm gonna resume fixing stuff in the background now.
Alright, yeah, so it's the 10th point. What we do here is every week we run we've had up to 12 players. We've played, most of the time we get around 10. And so you play 30 rounds, and you get points for based on your number of wins, and if you take down the event or multiple people go 3-0, then there's a win point bonus that is split among the winners, and that goes into your total score at the end, and that total score determines who qualifies for the end of season finals.
All right, we are almost ready to go. So I will let Croc and Luca challenge each other, and I'm keeping my eye out for them. And as soon as they're ready, I think we can get going.
I have made a room in the vintage tournament.
All right.
I'll actually start sharing my screen before I join, so that there's not just an awkward time gap.
All right. Well, good luck.
Then we should leave the channel.
See you guys on the other side. Yeah.
Yes, the people playing should not be in this channel, please.
Drat, I was hoping to sneak that in.
All right. Yes. So, I mean, this will be, I think, an interesting matchup. Croc's got a lot of. It's a kind of a tempo list. There's a lot of tempo cards. It's really interesting to see the 4-color Madness deck because there's just a lot of value packed into it in terms of all the extra value that you get out of the looting effects turning into just straight draws or draws and cost reducers. It sounds like such a weird list just in its description, but like, I don't know. It's one of my favorite decks that we've seen week to week, just in terms of the power that it packs into such a small space and the sweet interactions that you see, or when you start counting and you realize that Luca's turning like 4 loots into 5 cards drawn per turn, and it's pretty impressive. And actually, there's been some of the newer. Oh, here we go. We're jumping straight away. But some of the newer cards that we've got, or that he's got, are some of the new 2 draws. I see there's an Ironcrag Pyromancer in the list, which is pretty sweet. You get a free bolt off all your extra looting effects. So Lucas starting straight away here with Inquisition of Kozilek, taking Clique. We'll take a second as
it's
Rage gets
fairly...
the stream set up. Yeah, get the hand cam set up.
Yeah.
That is one of the things. Yeah, no worries. That Luca has that's pretty solid too. Is there's a lot of interaction in the deck. You get access to with the 4-color. You're playing a lot of removal. A lot of his removal is pretty solid because it's either got the cost reduce on the discard element, or it has a flashback element. Things like Ancient Grudge get a lot stronger when you're just either discarding them and still having access to them, or you get to cast them twice, which can be really powerful. Yeah, taking Clique right here, I can see. Well, no, I can't see Roxanne for the moment. So we know Sleight of Hand got something, Vendilion Clique, either a medium hand or just the fact that there wasn't very much under 3.
Small note. Oh, sorry. Small note. There's Life in the Loam in one of the hands. So that's
Luca. Luca has Life in the Loam, 3 lands, and
just thinking help support the Vendilion Clique because it kills Loam. Right?
Yeah, Faithless Looting. Yeah, that's a good point. And Loam really lets you fill your graveyard here, which you've got a lot of graveyard card interactions. Let's see. Medium start from Croc in terms of, although there's not a lot of spells under 2 in this list. I think most of them are on the instant sorcery. They're the interactive spells, so I don't expect to see much being played before 2 a lot of the time out of his deck. You got some of the cheap cantrips, but other than that, like your 2s, you got your Search for Escanta, maybe a Goyf, Wall of Blossoms, Jace. But a lot of the other threats are like Flash and stuff. So Luca's still just on lands here, but this Faithless Looting will do a lot of work in converting those hopefully into useful cards. Brainstorm here. End of turn, okay, and then we'll see if it deploys a threat or just keeps passing back. Luca is in a bit of a rough position here in terms of being able to respond to Croc's threats because he doesn't really have anything in hand. His mana's fine, that's one thing too. Like the 4-color and 3-color decks in this format generally have pretty good mana. That's not an issue. Obviously, you're weak to Blood Moon, but most decks in the format are weak to Blood Moon. Yeah, exactly. It really, really depends on what he hits off this Faithless Looting. There's an Oka, Scourge of Standard, and Brawl. I don't actually know, like, about half of Luca's creatures are like 1/1s, and the other half are like 5/5s and bigger, so.
Yeah, the thing is most of them are in that area where they could be controlled, because of the fact that most of them are gaining some sort of benefit from.
Yeah, they have a looting effect, like you're growing the threats, but you're taking away the looting. So Luca draws another land here, goes for the Faithless Looting, draws another land, and Obsessive Search. And here you can see now you get to discard that. Not that it really matters because your hand's full of lands anyways, but he does get to cast it for Madness, so he gets to draw another card. Yeah. I think he drew another land, and scoops it up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lands in 14 cards.
Youch.
In the face of an Oka, yeah, that Oka's just going to sit there and beat you down. I could see playing it out a couple more turns, especially in a tournament environment like this, but that is, I think, a totally reasonable scoop as well. Like, he is playing 38 lands, but that's like over a third of your lands right there.
What is
4-color Madness?
What is Croc's deck again, so I know?
Teamer midrange. 4-color Madness, he calls it 6-minute psychological check-up.
It just is a real fast kind of aside on the matchup in general, just my assessment of it. I don't know what you guys think on it, but I think it's really going to be feast or famine for the Madness deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that from the standpoint that I think as the game goes longer, they are going to accrue a lot of value, but I think the value they accrue tends to be a little more incidental than the haymakers that Croc's running in rugby.
Yeah, that's a big consideration. Is Croc's individual cards are a lot more powerful. You're slamming threats like Questing Beast. You're playing Vendilion Clique. You've got True Name Nemesis, Tireless Tracker, Tarmogoyf, Bone Crusher Giant.
Just traditionally good cards. Traditionally really good cards.
These really big threats that are just undercosted, overpowered in terms of power toughness, overstated, I guess, not overpowered.
By the way, our hands are being aired.
Yeah, we're still just seeing Luca's hand on stream.
This deck has hand twice.
Yes. And then, whereas on Croc's or Luca's deck, you have a lot more synergistic pieces. So I think it can struggle a little bit against some of the Haymaker decks because it really depends on your draw. If you do hit the removal for their Haymakers and you can force them, here we go. Now we can see both. Or you can put the pressure on with like this. So here you get to see some of the fun interactions. You get this Fiata Seer, which can potentially cast things off the top. If you draw and discard if it's not a land, it's a really weird card. Not as good as like a traditional looter, but it's neat.
It's basically Sinbad. It's like an old school.
It is.
Sinbad.
I think he plays that too.
Yeah, it's time shifted.
Same card.
It's like
same
color
card.
shifted, but yeah, it's the same card.
Same card, different color.
Which he also does have Sinbad in the list.
One of the things that kind of tied back to like the first game that like I really liked about Luca's Keep, even though it did not pan out, is I think one of the axes that he can attack Croc's deck along is definitely the mana development. Now, due to the recent increase in pointing on Strip Mine, he's not running it anymore, or they're not running it anymore. But they still have Wasteland, and a lot of Croc's build is going to be very dependent on the mana working. I wouldn't be shocked if we see it incinerate here. I think I like incinerating this card here because this is an effect that allows Luca to build up the yard. And I think one of the important things you can do in the early game is really take away those engine cards that allow this to happen. Now, this is not a strict looter, but it's still a card that can put a Madness card very easily into the bin.
Yeah, and it's really... It's going to be accruing value for your opponent, and that's... You lose the Ironclad Pyromancer, which is unfortunate. That's probably just going to die to, like, that's the way the deck works, right? Is you just keep drawing and drawing and drawing, and you'll hit something that's good or you won't. It is worth pointing out, yeah, like Wasteland. So Croc is on 8 basics, but at the same time, Wasteland will probably do a decent impression of strip mine most of the time in the situation.
Yeah, and 8 basics is no joke. I mean, that's still quite a few basics, but you need to have them, right? Like,
yeah. And also, like I was saying regarding Lucas Keep last game, again, I think I agree. It's totally reasonable when you keep in mind the deck has. I think your bigger risk is mulling into a hand that's short on lands and can't do anything, as opposed to a hand that lands and a plan. You have the Life and Loam if it comes up, if it's relevant, if it's useful, and you get to see 4 extra cards at least off of that Faithless Living.
Yeah, and it's highly synergistic too with the primary plan, which is going to use the spin for like blood gas and nonsense like that, you know. So,
yeah, and the odds of seeing that many lands are just not that high.
No, the draw didn't work out. I mean, that's just what it was. But I like the Keep based upon being able to attack along an axis that I think is strong versus the deck that he's playing against. And also just, you know, synergizing well with getting your eyes on a lot of cards by dredging, etc.
So interesting. I think Croc's just going to sit back here and have the Incinerate the Occultist, because this Garrick just dies to the Occultist. If you also, I guess you could play it and kill Sinbad, the Phytoseer, but that's probably not very good when it dies anyways. Yeah, here we go. Incinerate on that.
I think we're probably going to see a hard cast. What is it? The madness, the worm, the reckless worm.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see Seer activated here.
The color shifted arrogant worm.
Mm-hmm.
See if a better option avails itself. That would have been nice actually to have next turn to kill this Garrett. Because I think whatever gets played this turn is just going to end up. It's going to be this worm more than likely is going to end up getting eaten by the dragon.
Yeah, it looks like he's just casting the eruption for the damage now.
Oh, okay. I think that's good. It's a high value.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's not. Yeah. But I think I agree. I think I prefer that play. It looked like he was targeting with it, but I think he decided against it. Like you said, the worm will probably die to this. Yeah, Croc covering over his.
Yeah, it's pretty natural.
But then yeah, like Luca really needs a free discard engine here. To miss
but
6 mana kill spell into a 1 kill.
Any land, I mean, he's still got a kill spell for this dragon, right? I mean, like...
Yeah. Any land works. Any discard outlet, it doesn't cost more than, like, 4... If it's 4 or less mana and isn't double black. Like, a Faithless Living is probably what he really wants to see here. That works.
I mean, that's pretty good, too. It's going to get a Vine in the yard or give access to this kill spell.
Well, you discard the kill spell and untaps her, I believe. So you get... a free draw by discarding this.
The Vine is actually going to be kind of interesting this matchup. I think it will kind of... The Vine's going to be relevant from the standpoint that I think, depending on how Croc uses the Garruk here, the Vine could very easily eat it. If he doesn't make a 2/2 and opts instead, or if they don't opt to kill the Fidea Seer or the other thing, the Anje.
Anya. I think probably...
I think you probably kill the Anje. I think the Anje makes a lot of sense, and this Vine's going to be savage. Now, if they just draw another like loot effect and they can 2-spell with creatures next turn, I mean, they could just loot away the Vine.
Yeah, it's a question of like Anya's really strong. You can potentially hit multiple cards off it. You do get to control it. You discard as opposed to Seer, where you're just flipping the top card blind and hoping that it's something relevant. So
I think there's a strong chance that we see Garruk just eat one of these two things. Probably the Anje.
Probably the Anya. Also, it's got 3 toughness, which may be relevant. And so you can see this is the point in the game where Luca starts to turn things around. If because Croc isn't there. You go. Yeah. So you get to.
Well, that's a really good draw there, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that Ren and 6
Anya, Ren and 6 kill the Seer, but then
they can basically wipe the board.
They'll untap with a Ren and 6 probably in this Vengevine in play.
You know, the one thing that's spooky about this is like right now we don't have Vine Man. I can't hardcast a Vine.
Yeah, I think Luca will probably discard this Vengevine here and hope to draw a second creature. If you draw a cheap creature, a 2-drop or less, which I'm pretty sure he's got a lot of, you can go 2-drop and Rotting Reggie and get back the Vengevine. Yeah,
green
which is I think what he's going for.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
No, it won't.
Oh yeah, you need a second creature.
unless Croc opts not to kill the Fidea Seer because he thinks it's not relevant.
I don't think that's going to happen, though.
I think I would tend to kill the Fidea Seer, but the Fidea Seer is not really a standard discard outlet. It doesn't discard.
Can he not just cast both?
No,
he can do
you need
all.
a second creature. You need a second creature to.
No, but can he not cast Roaring Regisaur and Hogak here?
No, Hogak can't have mana spent on it, so you need a second creature to
you need
mana.
Yeah.
No, but you can just delve away all the cards.
Yes, and that pays for the 5, but delve only pays for colorless, not for the
colorless. Right, the color. Right, the color.
So you probably honestly wait to play out. I don't. Maybe play the Reggie.
I think you play Reggie. Who cares if you discard Hogak? You can cast it from the graveyard. So
yeah, I'm just thinking along the lines. The problem is this, right? You start putting 2/2s in the way, and it's just not going to do anything. So like you could save it up and then get the Vengevine for a hasty attack.
It's actually worse, right? Because the Wolves have Death Touch, so it's going to just trade for 200 Garruk Mace.
Yeah, it's kind of my thinking too. Is that it may make sense to save it, just so you can double spell and get the Vine back, and then also at the same time getting the Vine back, cast out the Hogak. And you have a Haster and a Trampler at that point, because Reggie does unfortunately not trample.
Yeah, so this is where you can see now Croc fighting back against Luca's attempt to turn the game around here. If Luca could have deployed the Vengevine here, then you see now they're both top decking, but Luca tends to see 2 to 3 more cards than the opponent, just for avoiding effects.
The quality on a hand size this small, I think, is going to be challenging, right? Because I mean, like. Run-in 6 was a pretty ideal draw there due to the fact that it did take Luca
taking down the second creature was super relevant here.
Yep, huge.
If Luca had gone Reggie, tap Fiatis and Reggie, cast Hogak, get back Vengevine, that's probably just game. Clear the Garruk, then have 19 power on board.
It's not a bad turn. Not a bad turn at all. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this Madness deck is running Anger or Wonder. They could be interesting.
That said, Luca drawing any creature here is just good from no Anger. Wonder's also 4 drop, no Wonder either.
Yeah, they're interesting cards. I don't know if you play them. I played them in more dredge heavy variants of the deck. Of this style of deck, I wouldn't say. I mean, the dredge decks are kind of like Madness, Delirium, dredge decks, right? Graveyard value nonsense.
Yeah, and I think so. He's got 2 Delve cards, Treasure Cruise and Hogak here. Deploying to take off the second black mana and also just to get another body in play, I think here, which is relevant.
Yeah. Well, it also turns Days on a little more too. I mean, if that's Oh, sorry. Yeah. So Anger and Wonder, guys, they're both 2/2s. They both cost 4 mana. Wonder is a blue card, blue and 3. Anger, you can see right there. They're both Incarnation cycle, so it's a cycle of cards. Wonder, if you have an island in play, in Wonders in your graveyard, all of your creatures have fly. Anger, you can see, gives them haste if you have a mountain in play. It's in your yard. So they're both.
Yeah, just getting bodies in play here, as Terdex says, is super relevant, especially when you know that there's that Vengevine in the graveyard. Like the chance, like Luca's deck is the kind of deck that can start spitting out multiple creatures in a turn pretty quickly, because it has a lot of cards that churn through the deck. So
I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a sack this turn to find an actual relevant creature with Garruk. Garruk's
I don't know
ability. It's not like exceedingly high value in this deck because their creatures are all kind of just like, they're not synergistic. They're just high quality.
I could
creatures.
see maybe you just get like a Tireless Tracker. Get Tireless Tracker with this Run-in 6. Get 2 clues per turn and just start refilling your hand.
Be a good engine card right here.
Yeah.
I
actually probably sack the
Rexig.
Yeah, because the Wolf's got the Death Touch, which is relevant.
You could get punished by it, but I mean, I think honestly it makes sense. You already got this engine going with Flooded Grove or Waterlogged Grove.
Yeah, you got this Prismatic Vista in play as well, so you can get an immediate clue and still have Mono the Crack it here if you can tutor it. Yeah, the lists are public. I don't know if you have a deck command, but if you want a list, I can post it in the chat.
Yeah. Phil's not a bad incarnation, Irish Lawyer. Yeah, it gives Swamp Walk if folks aren't familiar. There's also Brawn, which I believe gives them Trample. The white one is weird. It's called Glory. It's a double white 3, and when it's in your bin, you can tap a crap load of mana and give your stuff protection, I think.
I mean, there's two white ones, I think, right?
Here we go.
Yeah, there's 2 of them, I think, in some.
No, I think only some colors have 2. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Glory and Valor.
Croc with a big brain play here. Tutors for the Brazen.
There's also Brawn and Vigo,
and
right? Those
borrows...
are 2 different ones.
Oh, here we go. Gamble for Entomb, essentially, but better Entomb because it triggers Madness.
I wonder what they Entomb for here. I mean, like this is one of the cards that I've been really high on recently. I don't think it's in their build because I don't think they're playing white. Is Savine's Wreck? Like Savine's Wreck could turn this because if it was in the deck and you could make white mana here, you get back 2 creatures, then get back Hogak. They could set up some cool stuff. That's kind of a card I've been really high on.
Let's see.
Probably generally Loam, right?
God, it works from the graveyard. Or just I guess Madness in general.
Yeah, you get Loam. You could also get God, I can't think of it. Faithless Looting, if you really want to try to high roll something. I mean, like you're at the point in the game where I think you almost need to high roll. So like,
Avacyn, I think they are on Avacyn's Judgment, or they were at one point. They've definitely had Judgment discarded against me.
Yeah,
but I don't see it in the list right now.
Because they get a creature. What is this thing?
Yeah, Avacyn's Judgment. Is this
No, it's a bunch of zombos.
Make a ton of zombies, gain some life. Yeah. So black, make 3 zombies here.
It's a black fireball, basically. I don't think it's going to do enough here, though, unfortunately.
Is Luca empty in the pits, or is that too much?
No, yeah, that's a lot of mana. They're not on that. Yeah, days here, brutal. This should put us to the Abyssal. I think it probably is gain here.
Yeah, we're probably going to the next round here. I think you got a card engine plus, a threat engine online.
Croc can just tutor for something, I don't know, like, I just start slapping. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Questing Beast is probably the best bet.
I mean, me personally, because I'm a value.
I still like the Tireless Tracker.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just cement it even further. But I mean, Croc's already got a Waterlogged Grove with this Renin 6. So they're drawing an extra card every turn, anyways. I mean, I don't think there are many draws for Luca here. I mean, considering they don't have a discard outlet available for them in play, I mean, like, it'd have to be a pretty stellar draw.
You really want to hit Faithless Looting into something.
Yeah, if you could, like, looting into, like, Basking Rootwalla plus, like, another Madness threat that's really cheap. Fire out the Vengevine to knock out one of these card engines into... Okay, they got Vendilion and Cleek, so that's a smart play. I mean, it gets to stop whatever is drawn this turn. I don't know why we're doing it during upkeep, though. Wait, Croc. All right, there we go. They saw it. All right. Yeah, it's an Urborg. It's not a...
Yeah, and so you're just going to get 6 power in board, or in the air here.
This Vendilion Click makes good sense. I mean, it's basically like how like Croc saying, how do I lose from here? Like what's the best top deck?
I lose to this graveyard suddenly being accessible, and Luca putting in a ton of power that I can interact with, and so this Clique is, I don't.
I think I would wait on it because like right now, like the Clique doesn't represent enough pressure to like really end the game fast, so like they still have more draw steps. Is my thing on it, but I mean, like, I think the play's valid. It's still 6 power in the air, plus you're making 1/1s every turn. You got this card engine, so.
Okay, yeah, I think
that's gonna speed it up. That's gonna speed
not game, but yeah, 6 damage, and then another.
Yeah, you got
6 off 12. That. So that's 12. So that's we heal next turn.
Yeah.
Though if Croc misclicked and killed all of his creatures, Luca could come back into this game.
Yeah, that could happen.
I don't. Think it's gonna happen.
I mean, like with literally with like anger and flying, this game could just be 1-in-1 draw step. But that's tech that we're saying we don't have in the deck right now. So
yeah, and it's just
it's very high.
That requires like a perfect string of draws as well.
Man. No doubt. You don't have deck lists because the people like the deck list as public. Do you?
No, I do have them. Yeah.
I think they do. I don't.
Anger and Wonder are not in the deck.
I'll send them to you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just reference like cards that I think would be like.
Yeah, no. That's fair. But the deck list we do have all the deck lists. It's just that you weren't. Wait.
I can pour over them. I normally like in that position. It's like, what do you need to win? And it's like those are the kind of cards you would need to win, even though they're more high rolly and like you maybe don't run them or maybe you do. Thank you.
Yeah, that's actually easier. I just invite you to the channel, and then the deck lists are all there public. There you go.
Cool. And I won't lie to Chet. I'm rooting a little bit for like I was either rooting for Croc or Luca to like just make the climb.
Right? You want Croc? You want to see Croc climb?
I mean, neither of them is gonna go out.
Either of them.
It's a good story, and Luca's deck is just sweet. So.
Yeah. Plus, it's Chet. It's like he's gonna beat everyone like twice. It's like it's a great, So I'm kind of rooting for one of the two, And yeah, so like Luca's still live in the tournament too, right? Which is great. So I mean,
neither player is out.
They'll probably play each other again at some point, would be my guess. So good games to both folks.
I have seriously misunderstood something if I'm not completely out right now.
No, you're not. It's double limb.
It's doubly limb, so you'll have a chance to fight back through the not winners bracket. So if you do go to the end, you would have to beat the winner twice.
Sure.
But that's just the way the term works out. But yeah, so you're not out. We'll be playing more games.
Yeah.
In later rounds, I believe, or set up to run 2 matches at a time.
Yeah, basically now the next match, and I'm sorry that we still don't have camera for me. You don't get to look at me, but so now essentially what's gonna happen now is that Croc is gonna play against Ryu, which was our 3rd seed, and then you're gonna play against whoever loses that match. And we're gonna do that in parallel to the semifinals.
The winner of that
the winners
versus
bracket.
me, yeah.
Yeah. And so why don't you guys start getting things set up? And in the meantime, we'll try to start the round with everything already set up this time. I think it's probably gonna be a little better.
Yeah. That one wasn't too hard to watch, though. I mean, I think,
it wasn't. But let's try to I'd
I'd
rather wait the extra 3 minutes and then get everything set up perfectly. So
I think that's
that
a
was
great
just
call. Yeah.
a bit of an unfortunate game there. Lucas saw like 10 lands out of
That was
14.
obscene.
The game. That was just like that's the kind of hand that you see once in like 100 games or something. And just okay.
Yeah, it was bad numbers. I really liked your keep too. I think one of the axes that you can attack very effectively against Croc's deck is getting that like loam kind of value, and possibly landlocking them because they are your 3-color deck. I mean, running basics, but
in order to start setting things up, I need you to start the game and basically sit with your hands down so that the hands start capturing things. And if there's time problems, I will just stop and go and like start a new game with the.
Okay.
Yeah, but like, just sit there with your hands, basically.
So what we're seeing is medium Golgari versus the team at Tempo deck.
Yeah, I mean the medium Golgari deck's pretty interesting. It kind of has like some.
I don't think I have Ryu's hand.
Okay. Yeah, the medium Golgari deck kind of I think has a lot of attributes of like one black mold, like so like black green aggressive. Kind of complemented with some more 4-drops and like ancient 2-mana threats, like Shifting Ceratops, Questing Beast, that new 4/4 demon that gets huge. Ericas, you know the name of the card because you play it. That thing, like a bunch of just bigger, slightly bigger threats that are quick, kill people outright, generally have evasion or a bunch of keyword soup that make it hard to block them, do a bunch of damage.
That is a card that I kind of wished Luca was playing is that new demon, the 3-mana 0/0.
Oh no, Embodiment of Agonies.
Yeah.
That's a card that I actually play in one of my dredge variants. I think the card, and Luca can probably chime in on it, it's probably too inconsistent for their build because like they do put a lot of cards in the bin, but because they're all madness cards, a lot of them like aren't staying there. So it just comes out as a 3/3 or a 4/4. Now if you go to like a true madness or a true true dredge deck, like when I was casting it in my dredge deck with like when I was talking about cards like Wonder and what's the other stupid card? Anger.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would cast that thing as like a 22/22 flyer and be like, bam, you're dead. Well, but it was not consistent, right? It wasn't.
I mean,
it was
like already flies.
So. Well, yeah, but I mean, like the anger was the operative part.
Yeah,
Plus, you talk about that card specifically, but like you have like Hogax that don't fly; they have trample. But I mean, like Hogax, like Bloodghast, Vengevines.
At the same time, though, like it is. Even what I really like is it does have the Death Touch in flying. So even if it's coming out defensively or fairly small, a flying Death Toucher is still going to put in a lot of work in most cases.
Yeah, I just think the card kind of like initially got rated a little. I don't think it has as much range as folks thought it did initially.
I do think it's definitely also better in like the more colors you're playing, the better it gets because it cares about mana costs not CMC. So if you have a
That's
single
kind of a
green
challenge, right? That's a
and a
challenge.
single red and a single blue,
And
that's
we
those
should
3 plus
be
3.
good
So.
to go. Let's
right.
get going. I don't think.
And for folks watching, before we jump into the match, if you're not familiar with Embodiment of Agonies, it's in a star. Okay, we'll jump into the game. We can explain Embodiment of Agonies later. We can put the card window up.
Yeah,
All
actually,
mold of 5.
What's happening?
We got a
So
mold of 5.
I have the screen share from Ryu, but I don't. His hand is not there.
They might have captured the wrong thing. You might need to join the chat and talk to them.
So,
is somebody watching the game? Maybe that's what I'm looking.
Oh yeah, I think you might be looking at
the game. You're looking at my screen.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Okay, that explains it. Sorry.
So
okay, so to jump into the gameplay of this match right now, like we had a mold of 5 and a mold of 6, respectively. Croc into Dark or Ryu's hand. Soul Ring draw for Ryu, which was rapidly mental misstepped, which is a high value play because generally if someone's keeping a Soul Ring hand, it tends to be more dependent on the Soul Ring, and as you kind of see here, like it was like that would have been a turn 1 Heart of Kieran, but
yeah, exactly, into a turn 2. Mana George in accruing the heart, like that's a real fast hand.
It's really quick. So the question Croc's got to kind of answer for himself here is that, or their self here is, do you want to bolt this silly Elvish Reclaimer, which is going to be able to tutor a land, or do you want to leave up access to counterspell on their next turn? And I don't know what the right answer is in the situation. I would tend to like bolting the Elvish Reclaimer because to me it just screams like strip mine.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. Do you like? I kind of like bolting here when you know they've mold and you've countered their Soul Ring.
Well, Croc's mold too, so I mean, like
yeah. But what I mean is, right, they kept a hand with less cards with a Soul Ring. You're hoping that they're relying on that Soul Ring, but
I actually kind of like. Well, Croc has the list, so my guess would be is Croc looked at their list and determined if they had a strip mine or not. And I could look this up right now because I'm just sending the list, but like that's probably the check they were just doing. Like they're like, all right, is it just Wasteland or is it strip mine?
Yeah, no strip mine, just a Wasteland. I see.
Yeah. And they're not even going to go for it. They're just going to go to hardcast this. I kind of like this play. If you check the deck and there's no mine in it, if it's just Wasteland, I'd be like, that's fine. Like they can go back a land drop and have a slow mine or have a slow
counter
Wasteland.
Here, or you untap and go for the bolt.
I counter this. I want to bolt the Reclaimer. Me personally, because it can find Ancient Tomb, City of Traders, or Gaia's Cradle.
Yeah, that's the thing, or just even like a Wasteland or something.
Wasteland if you want. But I mean, Croc's not really low on mana. They're going to have access to this Faithless Looting via basics. I think they run a basic mountain.
No, Croc's on like 8 basics. I think 1 mountain, 2 forests, and 5 islands.
Yeah. The fear is though is that this Reclaimer, it's not Wasteland.
Yeah, 1 mountain, 2 forest, 5 island. So they do have access to basic red here.
Yeah. I think I bolt here, but I mean that's just. You could get the Finks out. The Finks is probably going to get outclassed by most of the threats that are in the opposing deck, and
we're going for the bolt right here.
Yeah, where this medium deck really starts kicking
is
going to be on
here,
4.
If you hit this, no land here, which is unfortunate.
Well, it's big for Croc.
Yeah,
because I think realistically, what that Mystic would have found was an Ancient Tomb.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Trying to swamp into an Ancient Tomb or something.
Yeah.
And start casting these 4s.
Yeah, I think I loot here, see if I get a better option, and then just Finks it up and hope Finks can at least buy. That's huge.
Deploy the Soko, probably.
Yeah, probably. Although Thrun is kind of good against Oko.
And there's just this Abrupt Decay.
Yeah. But Abrupt Decay, like, honestly, if I draw the land here, I think I'm just Thought Not Searing. And firing up the Heart of Kieran and slamming. I don't think I'm going to try to Abrupt Decay an Oko. I'll try to kill the Oko.
Do you Abrupt Decay the... Well, does it change your calculus if... Because Croc will have no cards in hand if they go with the land Oko plan. Does that change your calculus on whether you slam or just kill it?
I would go for the Oko line here. I think it's very good against the medium decks. But I think from the other position, if you hit the land, you just slam a threat because they're going to make a food token more than likely. They're not going to make this copter a 3/3. Is my guess. It could, but they probably make it. They probably just make a food token, and then you can slam this this big old dummy here. This 4/4. Eat up one of their. Eat up. I guess none of their cards. All right, they're going to keep up. They're going to keep up the leak. Okay.
I think that's a better hand. Play a little bit slower here. You know that.
Playing slow when you've stranded a bunch of cards in their hand is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think I like just going for the high tempo, high upside play. Now it wouldn't have worked out here, so like this is gonna I think generally look like a better line, but I kind of like not keeping the leak and just going for Oko, like try to win the game because that card on its own can win the game. If they have the decay or the trophy, like you get kind of had.
Yeah,
but even if they just land a threat,
like get it into like I don't know. I like the potential to hold up that counterspell in the face of when they got the Heart of Kieran and 3 mana, right? Especially again if you have access to their deck list and you can see.
Yeah, but like you're kind of boxing yourself into just pitching that card down anyways, right? Like that mana leak down anyways. Maybe you do it because you're just gonna get eat a threat. I mean, if it's a land, we kind of know already that it's just gonna be a Thrun, which that mana leak's not great against. Although I think in that position, if I was dark, actually if I was dark, I would slam the Thrun there. If they just left open mana and had 2 cards in hand, I'd just slam Thrun and be like, what are you gonna do? So we're gonna see a Ponder first, but like Arakatsu was saying, I think I would go for the Oko line there, just be a little more aggressive on it. Anyway, so we see Ponder here. I think I would Ponder just looking for the land drop and smooth out my draw ideally. If you miss, it kind of stinks, but I think you want to be developing your mana resources so you can cast.
Yeah, otherwise, well, you're either doing nothing or playing this Oko. But
yeah, I don't think playing Oko is bad. But
Ponder trying to hit Oko, you're probably pretty good odds to get a land here. You've got 36 lands.
And if you're really worried about it, you can basically make a green-blue or blue-blue off of the land, the filter.
Okay, no, just going for the Oko here, yeah.
Okay.
Decides it's worth it for the guaranteed Oko deployment.
Yeah, I would have been a little more. I think I would have gone for Ponder there just to develop a bit more. But
this is very safe.
It does put you in an awkward position where if you don't draw land, you're out of green and blue mana for the turn on your opponent's turn, so you can't hold up like a 2-mana counter there if you've got one of them. But
yeah, I think I'd still do it because I would really want to be able to cast a follow-on spell if I found something more relevant than Oko. I'm probably not gonna. I mean, Oko's just very relevant, right? I mean, it's just always.
Kieran.
Okay. They could be looking to burn it out, make it smaller. I think I like making food there, but this is fine too. Or as a pulse, so I mean, it's going to get answered in any one of many ways.
Yeah, I think you go for the Replicate here. Keep pulse for something that's not CNC locked.
I could see pulsing here just to use up all your mana for starters, and then also the sorcery.
Well. Yeah, it's sorcery, and it can be countered. And right now, Croc cannot counter your spell.
Yeah.
Right. Even Daze doesn't do it because there's no islands in play.
Yeah, I don't think the CMC is a huge consideration against Croc either.
There's a Replicate or not a Replicate.
Well,
we're talking about questing beasts earlier. Like I think a Croc has some 4-drops that Rayu might want to kill at some point.
Yeah. Let me tell you though, like it does not feel very good to get nailed by a questing beast, and then have to spend like 90% of your turn blowing it up with a Maelstrom Pulse, so they can just cast another bomb threat on the next turn when you're tapped out.
Croc is getting a little ravaged here because now the Art of Kieran is not an artifact anymore, so he can't steal it with Dark Fate.
Yeah, I was thinking getting a little punished here with Dark Fate in it, but I assume Heart's just getting.
That's interesting. I guess they're really worried about counter magic there. I guess they're worried about the counter magic. All right, so you probably just abrade this goofball.
Or maybe or they're worried about because Thrun is more likely to untap with and get to play your next 4-drop. If you play the not with the potential that you get removed.
This is a pretty good draw right here. This Wasteland should ostensibly buy more time.
Yeah, I think you keep the Wasteland here. If you keep Jace, you're hoping to hit another card.
The problem is the Thran, right? Like Jace is gonna, all of your Planeswalker are gonna get pressured because Thran is gonna untap with Thran, and once Thran has been untapped with, he just can never die unless you have literal actual Wrath of God or Domination.
Yeah, I don't think Croc has a way to kill Thrun. It's not just
race it,
run Rayu out of mana, and force a block or something.
Race it. That's one of the good ways to beat up on a Thrun is just race the thing. Hope to buy his land, then C3. You can also actually alternatively, if you hit land, you can plus it to 5, and then it does not die to the board in one hit. But it's going to get thought not seared anyway.
I don't know if it's completely over yet. It's pretty good, close. But like I could see if Croc can draw like
I think he's 2 mana
True-
short.
True
Two
Name
mana.
Nemesis.
Yeah, it just buys time.
Well, yeah, but True Name buys some time and can maybe get you in a
It
position
answers
where you can do
Thrawn, right?
something relevant.
That's-
But
Yeah. Well, it answers Thrawn or Thought Not
you're on a
Seer.
2-turn clock here, yeah, and there's a Maelstrom Pulse, so...
Yeah, you'd probably pack it in here. This is
Got punished in quite a few different ways in this. A couple of decisions like.
And again, they were both on mulligans, so they're both a little low on resources here. And I think like Ryu's deck is designed to play better in that situation, right?
Part of Kieran turning on the Gaia's Cradle as well. That's pretty
like
awkward.
Croc's deck has the ability to dig out of it a little easier, but once Ryu's deck gets going, it's just is this the same hand? Not really, but you've still got this.
Yeah, we're gonna see a Metal Misstep on a.
We're gonna see a Metal Misstep on a Soul Ring into a Elvish Reclaimer. So
here's a question: like, I don't think I would Soul Ring turn 1 because his hand doesn't.
I don't think you Soul Ring. I think you Elf because
Yeah. I don't disagree.
You want them on next turn off it, right?
Yeah.
But it is pretty funny that we see another Soul Ring Mental Misstep exchange potential here.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. There it is.
Metal Wall of Blossoms. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I understand the desire to try to get starting out fast, but it doesn't when they're tapped out. But I mean,
yeah, no, you put the Elf out of the
Reclaimer. The Elf is going to get you them on a next turn anyways. If you play Elf this turn, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana next turn, right? If you play Soul Ring first, you have 4 mana next turn, but you don't have the Elf in play.
Ring doesn't do anything for this hand is the biggest deal. It doesn't really do anything initially. It just doesn't, you know. Like if you had like a turn 2 Thrun or like a turn 2 Thought Not Seer, like hell yeah, like let's.
Well, yeah, but even then, like going for the Fintorn Elf first, you still have 4 mana on turn 2. If you go Elf into Soul Ring, or Soul Ring into Elf puts you on 3 mana next turn, or 4 mana if you don't.
That was a draw. That was a hell of a draw right there. So we're gonna see a dork, maybe 2 dorks get played here. 1 dork probably get blown up by this Renin 6 and then get a land engine going.
Yeah, at least Reclaimer doesn't die to it, but there is this.
Yeah.
Is it Charm can deal with it?
Yeah, I think
the Roof is clearly a hedge against me, and I won't stand for it. But it's not relevant in like 90% of the matchups here today.
Oh, that was a great draw too. I think honestly here I just go for the Elf kill. I don't think I go for the land drop. That could be wrong though. Honestly, you could just go for the land to set up the Tireless Tracker next turn with the pink.
I do like killing it, especially now you have this wall in front. Like, I don't think there's a line for your Renin 6 to die here. I guess, obviously, if Assassin's
Big draw on black mana. So there's black mana right there. You're going to see the Assassin's Trophy blow up the Renin 6 more than likely.
But first of all, you got this Force in hand, and second of all, it does put you... but
you're not going to play around Force here if you're, on Ryu's side.
Well, you can't, right? What are you going to do? Cast this Rex Sage and do nothing? That seems like...
Exactly, it'd be bad.
A low easy play, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to cast Rex Sage, you'd probably just go land tutoring with your Elvish Reclaimer. Not that it's really great against the Renin 6, but...
Okay, just goes for a body in play.
Okay. I think that's fairly passive, but... Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'd go for the Assassin's Trophy to try to get this value engine that's going to allow Croc to hit lands, but that's me.
Check. Croc literally has no artifacts in his deck.
Yeah, I don't think Oof is going to be very good. They're probably playing Oof. Is that a Mystic Dispute? Hell yeah, he's got all the new like hateful cards in his deck.
It is interesting to see Ryu has Chrome Mox, Grafted Wargear, Heart of Kieran, Mana Crypt, Skull Clamp, Smuggler's Copter, Soul Ring, and GT. So they're running 8 artifacts and Oof.
I think if you're on a couple of tutors for creatures like Green Sun Zenith, I don't like it as much in medium green spreads, but like it's still just such a silver bullet against certain matchups that are going to be tough for you. So
no, I mean, and I know it's probably not in their normal run. I'm pretty sure that's a hedge in this.
Again, pretty passive pretty passive play by Croc here. I think I like either casting the Tireless Tracker as an aggressive line of play. Or is it charming this land tutor card right here? It's going to find probably an Ancient Tomb, or City of Traders.
Probably just saying about the Oof, it might be a good tech play given you know who's second in the tournament.
Yeah. I don't think the card's like awful by any means. I think if you have access to creature tutors, like having it as a silver bullet is just fine. Like I run it in quite a few mid-range decks, normally like 3 to 4 color mid-range.
Yeah, but how many artifacts are you running in those lists?
None. None. Yeah, I can't think of any.
Not maybe... just the fast. Like, it's not just that it turns off the fast mana, which whatever, but also like you've got like Wargear, Skull Clamp, and GT in there that it's also turning off, and then like your Smuggler's Copter. I don't know.
Get it killed in combat. I don't know. You could even Assassin's Trophy and ramp yourself. I don't think that's going to happen. That was an interesting one to get. So they ended up getting the Urborg. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's just like you spent your turn getting a land in play. That doesn't really help you.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that line. Maybe it was a misclick. Maybe they need. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe they just weren't considering me because again, like this still puts you even if you draw land, you're not playing anything next turn.
So I think Croc's firmly in the driver's seat here.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean we're gonna probably
Tireless Tracker, Renin 6, and a Force of Will in hand. Like,
yeah. I'm not feeling confident if I'm on the other side, but I think if you get Tomb there, you have some ounce to like just slamming a Tusk if you draw another land.
Mm-hmm. Or
slamming a Ronus, and just like what board wiping them essentially.
Yeah, or if you draw a 4-drop, you can play that too. So yeah,
I mean, you're gonna get Force of Will here, like we know that, but I mean, like it's the highest upside play I think to go from Doom. I don't know.
Because here you can't even like cast 2/2 right? You're just spending your whole turn.
You can blow up a clue token, or you can cast a Heart of Kiran, I suppose. But
blowing up a clue token doesn't even do anything because Tireless Tracker makes another clue.
Well, you take one off the board, It's like
no, they get another clue because the land enters off of Assassin's Trophy.
No. I'm talking about Rex Age, not.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, I was going to say. Okay.
not trophying the clue. That'd be aggressive.
Yeah, that's why I was very confused.
Right.
Very aggressive.
People mull this hand from Ryu.
Yeah,
Maul
I thought
easy.
It was a check, but no, yeah,
it's red removal.
Exactly. Croc's on red deck. You've seen the Forked Bolt. You've seen the Lightning Bolt. You've seen the Mental Misstep. You've seen Croc has so many ways of killing your cheap creatures.
That said, yeah, we do know that, but if they can't do it right away, if you mize, if you have a second land, I keep this hand. Like if this had a second land over like one of the 4-drops, easy keep because if they're killing your little idiots like early, your Goyf's gonna get bigger, your Scoo's gonna have more advantage. Yeah, you kept it. Well, if they draw a land, I don't think they're out of it because like they have the Goyf and the Scoos, which both work very well with attritional kind of games.
Also, fortunately, you're on the play here. If you were on the draw, you get absolutely blown out by this Forked Bolt. On the play, well, maybe Croc goes Harbor first. Oh, actually, no, you get to see this probe too. Yeah, no, this is going to be rough.
This is going to be brutal.
You're going to feel pretty good about it when he sees it, which that's rugged.
I mean, there's Hinterland Harbor pass, and then next turn.
Depending on what you draw here, there's even a line where you just play out the tap. Okay, we found the other land. So there's a line where you play out the tapped land.
Okay, just gonna kill the one here, which is I don't know about that. There's no 3-drop that I think I'm really.
Snapcaster.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that takes you a little while. I don't know.
Yeah, but we drew the land anyway. So I mean, like that. See, this is like if you draw the land here, I don't think this is that bad. But it's a high risk, high reward hand, is what it is.
Because you got this Goyf down.
Yep. Yeah, it's a high risk, high reward hand. I
mean, you really just want to hit a couple more lands here.
That's gonna kill it though. That Chain Lightning will blow this thing up. So you play tap land, blow it up.
Creature.
There's already a Sork in there, yeah. So it's gonna work. It'll work. I do think you just play out the tap land here and just bolt this thing off the face of the earth, and then you look to Snapcaster. You hope they don't draw land. Then you Snapcaster. I guess if they draw land, doesn't matter. You can Snapcaster Chain Lightning on the following turn and just blow up the Ooze if it can become a 3/3.
Yeah.
They're going to struggle in this one now because losing the Goyf is pretty big here. The Ooze is not going to be able to outgrow the removal. It's in the bin. They're not going to be able to know that. So, I mean, I like their sequencing here and playing the Goyf first. So if they have it, they have it. But, I think now it's going to be real tough.
Croc just says, City of Traders into...
That's a draw.
That's a really good draw. That's probably one of the better draws you have here into this. Slam down this...
Ancient Tomb's probably better, but this is still very
good. Well, definitely, right? Ancient Tomb you'd prefer just because it doesn't go away, but...
What do you hit here? I'd probably hit Dak. I think I'd hit Dak.
Dak or Snapcaster.
I like Dak better. Because
Snapcaster doesn't have a way to kill your 4-drop right now, so you're probably fine with that.
Dak
represents a lot of value here.
I
guess you can't slam Dak here because it'll just die. So, but you go Finks into Dak and you're fine.
That hand doesn't stop a 4/4 though, so I mean, like I like taking away the means of finding a way to stop a 4/4. I don't know if Croc's running Dismember. I could again look at the deck.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like I think that's a reasonable line. I quite like that. I don't see a Dismember in the list.
Yeah, Rug sometimes will run it because you're only on red removal, and if you need like something bigger than 4, which you have like Flame Slash to do 4, like you can.
I see magmatic sinkhole.
Yeah, I think right now with that they have also magmatic sinkhole. That's
I think
probably
the only way
needed,
that Croc is running to. Oh no, they do have the Flame Slash. Yeah, they got the Flame Slash as well.
The hope here is
and
that
if you need to run what's his name,
they have 2 removal spells. 2 removal spells for this.
So you probably brainstorm because they lost the land here, and Croc knows that. Yeah, this is a lot of mana, but you can just put it back on top.
Well,
Croc knows the hand. So
the nice thing here too is that creatures creature spells or activated abilities, unlike say a workshop. So you actually do have you can deploy this elf and eat 3 things, which is pretty nice.
I think the line that'll be taken here is we brainstorm first and then opt to
memory lapse here.
I'd brainstorm first, probably, just to see what my options were. I think this is a time where you want to EOT brainstorm because this game's kind of slipping away from Croc at this moment.
And if your brainstorm goes bad, you have the Stack Fade to loot away the cards off the top anyways. So even if you don't have a fetch to reset it, you do have the Dack Fade.
Yeah. Now, I will say this, though. Like, this draw, I don't think this keep was correct on Ryu's side, but I think it's going to work out pretty well.
Yeah, definitely got rewarded here.
Yeah. I mean, it was a high-risk, high-reward keep, which I think in a Game 3, I don't know how keen I am on. If I'm in a Game 2 and I'm already down and I think it's a bad matchup, I may keep it, but it's situational, right? So, Finks buys some time. We know the top cards, so we can opt Impulse. I think you have time to take a little bit of beat down, so maybe you opt Impulse here.
Yeah, I can also see Opt Impulse also gives you the chance to draw something that answers the Skoos.
That buys time right now.
But yeah. Well, Croc really needs to find that next land. And also this islet is going to be a little painful here.
Yeah, I think I would have Impulse main there, just because, I mean, like, Ryu's kind of shown like they're going to play their cards. Like,
they're not doing anything else, I guess. And Ryu's slamming, Ryu's slamming this Skoos again.
Yeah, so. I would have been interested just to Impulse there to find a land, just so I could get this Cryptic Command online and possibly set up, some sort of reverse. But, we'll see. You take 4 here. Yeah, I mean, what are you hoping to find here that's not... Because you need your land drop. Maybe, like, Flame Slash into kill the 4/4. Find a relevant card off that, answer the ooze, and then hope they blank on black mana so they can't cast the Kalitas. Tough spot.
I did not even know that Cryptic Command was an invocation.
Yep, there's an invocation for Cryptic.
Yeah. Spell Snare here. A little late.
Oh, okay. So I kind of like this. Is interesting. So we probably... Oh, that's a big draw. But if they play at main 1, which they're probably going to do, we can get a counter team tap or bounce.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I like counter bounce, right? You get...
Counter bounce the Thought Not Seer, so you can get another... Yeah.
If you counter bounce the you are taking
can't
4.
be recast right now, right?
That's correct.
You're dead if you counter bounce.
No, you're not.
Yes, you are. You're taking 1 for this Fiery Islet, going to 4, and you've got a 3/3 ooze and a 1/1 elf.
Fair enough. I guess you can't. So we counter tap.
Counter tap and then deploy this Sphinx.
Yep. So we're just gonna eat some stuff. All right.
Yeah, and then probably eat this. Well, I mean, actually, I don't think you need to eat this Cryptic anyways. Like, it's not getting cast here.
Flame Slash? No. Counterspell. That's not very good here.
Yeah, just going to see Oof here. Go up to 6, block, take... Oh, actually, no, like, with this Sphinx, I think you're just dead. Because Sphinx, with this Skoos, you're in trouble.
You're not dead, because you can Sphinx into blocks.
You go to 6. Yeah, so you go to 6 here.
Live at 1 life, and can't tap your land.
Yeah, live at 1, and you're down 1, so you can't counter anything here.
I don't think Croc is on sweepers, so...
No, I didn't see any in the list.
Yeah, I don't think there's a... Yeah, this draw just worked out really well.
Ryu is like keep dropping hammers. Now we have a Cletus.
Yeah, which doesn't even matter. But yeah, like
that's medium theory, right? I mean, like medium deck theory generally is going to have like these very polarizing cards, and
whatever, it doesn't matter. You can't block your elf anyways. I guess you're holding it back for the activation, but it's not super relevant either.
Well, you could just choose not to block too. Actually, it is relevant from the standpoint that now the land can be tapped on their side for mana on the next turn, so it doesn't kill a land.
No, no, it can't. won't come. Oh no, you mean sorry, you mean yes.
Yeah. You take them off
going to 2
mana,
here, yes.
and they go to 2 instead of
to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and you don't need it to eat the Finks out of the graveyard because Kalitas won't let it hit the graveyard.
Yep. Definitely tough spot. I mean, that was a very solid draw to the medium deck.
Let me see. Yeah, the reward for that hand there. I think there's I think there's lines where like Croc waits on the fork bolt a little bit, but that's kind of risky against the deck, especially with access and you can see all the 3-drops on the list. So that was a pretty close game. That was a good match.
Yep.
Also had the Gataxian probe, so I knew what their hand was at that point.
Yeah.
Yep.
I felt that third hand was
like could wait on the fork bolt, or we could hope they don't draw the second land and just.
I do love how you got 2 games in a row with the basically 4 of the same cards with that Soul Ring mental misstep.
That's big energy right there.
Yeah, when you play 4 of them, it's too easy.
I may be here to leave. I may be here to lose, but I'm not here to lose the Soul Ring.
I was wondering though why you led. I was asking.
I have jinxed myself.
Why you led with Soul Ring on turn 1 there instead of the Elf, right? Tapping with Soul Ring on 2 leaves you at 4 mana, but going Elf into Soul Ring also puts you at 4 mana with an Elf in play.
Yeah, the thing is I was risking more the fact of him not having some way of interacting on turn 1, like if he has the ability to hand attack.
Yeah, any other counterspell or hand attack, I can see that. Hand attack's not really a thing of that deck, but I know what you mean. Yeah, like a cheap interaction spell, a daze, something
Pierce,
that you're afraid of.
Pierce is a big one too.
Spell Pierce,
Yeah, like the fact of free counter spells is a thing if he has a island, so I'd rather run the Soul Ring, which was more valuable to my hand, than run the Elf and then go, turn 2, well, that didn't work out.
Yeah, at least you have a 4-drop, by the way, but yeah. Makes sense.
Alright.
It's not unreasonable, but alright.
So I'm gonna do a little bit of housekeeping, and then we are gonna head over to round 3. First, I want to remind people that if you're watching this and you're thinking, hey, I want some of that, you can sign up for Season 5. We are gonna round Season 5 starting January after the holidays. Exactly the time and date will be it's something that we'll figure out over the holidays. We're gonna be running a timing poll on the Canadian Highlander Discord. You can join the Discord here, and if you're interested in joining joining future tournament, just keep an eye out in the tournament announcement channel. There's going to be all instructions there. We're going to be running timing polls. I'm going to probably have done one by the end of the upcoming week. It's going to run over the holidays, and basically what that means is that you can tell me when you're available, and I'm going to try to find a spot that works for me and also for the maximum number of people available, so we can have the maximum number of players. We do this basically every season because, schedules change, where people show up, some people leave, so we want to have to be on the ball in terms of having as many players as possible and running a good time slot for that. I want to thank Irish Lawyer and Roland Rivera 13 for subscribing to the channel, which they did at the beginning of the stream, so thanks for that. And Blast Shark did it about 3 hours ago, according to my thing, so thanks them for the subscription. We are heading into round 3, although this thing just says waiting for round, which is not what we're doing. We're in fact waiting for round 3. Sir, oh, I don't know what's going on there. Here is the deal. We're gonna be watching the winners bracket side of things, which is gonna be Ryu versus Para. In the background, and we might watch some of that match if the main match finishes early. There's gonna be a losers bracket match. It's gonna be a rematch of Ryu versus
Luca versus Croc, right?
Sorry, Luca versus Croc.
Yeah.
And they're going to be playing in the background. We are going to only go to that match if basically match 1 finishes before them. Which means that our booth will be Arakasi and Loman for these upcoming match, because they're the only non-me people that are free that they're not currently otherwise occupied. So Again, let's do the same. Let's do the same as we did. As we did for this round, where I'm gonna start getting things set up before we start, so that way we can go to the round immediately. You guys start setting things up, and if Rayu and if Rayu and Para can hang out in the call until they're ready to start, I will let you go, and then you can leave when you actually start the game. But I'm gonna let you know when I have everything.
All right, so are we good to start though? To jump into the match, I think.
Yeah, I mean, jump into the match and then wait with your hands. If there's time problems,
we'll
have
a
start
fist fight with Luca.
Okay.
I'll just go fight Luca in the dumpster over there.
To clarify, we're going to be watching Rayu and Perrin Undrox play a game. So it'll be Academy versus Medium Golgari.
Is it more accurate to call it Academy at this point, or is it just Time Vault?
It's Vault Academy. Yeah, it's more of a Time Vault list. Let me just make sure that I got to reshare my screen.
Which honestly, I could kind of see going either way. I think in general, Vault is going to be favored versus what's generally just a mid-range deck. Now, on a fast draw with just like 1 to maybe 2 pieces of interaction, I think Rayu can really lock it up. Like Abrupt Decay or Assassin's Trophy are probably going to be relevant. Then the hand attack.
Reclamation Sage. Like we've already seen a lot of the hate pieces. There's an oof in there.
So yeah,
Rayu has the pressure to capitalize on those hate pieces.
Don't make sure, because I'm still hanging out here. We have been mulling. Just make sure.
I can't see your hand. We won't talk about your hands.
Make sure you don't talk about anything that is in his hand or my hand. Well, I don't care if you talk about what's in my hand because he can't. But I just want to make sure that
nope,
once the hand cams are good, I can hop out and then you guys can get going.
Yeah.
Sure.
Basically, give me a second. I'm finishing setting in the hand. I'm almost done actually, and then we can you should be good to go. Yeah. Don't talk about hands quite yet.
Maybe hold on the game for a second.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can talk about general stuff if you want, or if you are comfortable with it. But I was gonna say, like Rayu has, we know, like there's the oof in there, there's the Rex Sage, there's the tutors, there are silver bullets, there's the cheap interaction with 4 minutes, whatever. You've got the cheap interaction with like Abrupt Decay. So there's answers to the some more permanent than others. This deck is actually playing some interaction. This version, last week's version, did not have an answer to onboard interaction. So I've put that in. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think it could be an interesting matchup. I mean, if you have a very fast Vault, I think it's going to be difficult unless they're on a very specific draw. I don't like Rex Sage is actually an answer to Time Vault. I think because you're not going to expose the Vault. You're not going to expose the Vault until you have to.
Yeah, I had that happen to me yesterday actually in a real game of Canadian Highlander that I played online where. My opponent, I just went off with Time Vault, and my opponent just showed me this Rex, and he was like, "Yeah."
Para, are you
we're good to go, by the way. You guys
we're good.
This call, and
I'll jump out, and we'll get going.
Yeah.
All right. So as far as these hands go, we have 2 keeps, I think, on both sides. It really depends on what Para's playing in there. I don't think Para's hand is horrible. I think it has, due to Trinket Mage, I think it has access to like a Sensei's Divining Top. You can set it up, but I can see it getting mulligan too. I like the bottom hand that the Rayu has. This has an answer to a Vault. It has early mana acceleration. It's got some decent threats. It doesn't have a good turn. I guess it has a good turn 2 play in the form of Hydra. So I like the hand.
Yeah, Mana George is very good against what Para's doing, just because they play a lot of Mana Rocks. They like to play a lot of spells in a turn. It presents quite a collection.
Ironically, this is actually a pretty good mid-range hand out of Para's deck as well. You may see like an Abrupt Decay on a token even here. You may have to just to get through, because I think it's more important for Rayu to continue to promote their own primary game plan as opposed to allowing the game to go long, because Academy lists will tend to find a way to win. Swamp couldn't be what you're hoping for. We're probably going to see just a preordained here, looking for probably something busted. Fast mana would help out here.
Yeah, fast mana would be quite useful.
Also need a second. I guess you have a secondary blue source in your one of your signets.
Invent is there.
Okay, well that's access. I think that's too slow though for what it looks like Rayu's hand's going to get up to. What I'm curious to see is how much Rayu pressures beyond the Mana Gorger or Mana George, Mana Gorger Hydra.
I'm not sure he'll really need to. He can just play the Reclaimer, hold up the Abrupt Decay for whatever.
I don't think I would though. I think I'd still slam. Depending on what they do, I think I'd still slam here, even though there is a risk they have like the highest potential hand with a key and a vault, and they can turn 3.
I think I'd just main phase the Abrupt Decay on the Talisman and Elvish Reclaimer if I didn't know what was in.
Oh no! What I meant, I think I'd save. I think I would get one more threat down and then just save this Abrupt Decay to deal with Vault specifically, because I don't think that's what I think I would do.
Yeah.
I also like just playing Vengevine here. I just want a fast clock if I'm on ready use. So I just get the Vengevine down and start put him on a 2-turn. But yeah, after deploying the Thrawn here, I think I would just sit and just I would play the things I could, but still leave up the Abrupt Decay.
Yeah, there's no reason at this point to just lose to a random Vault key.
Yeah. But I think you want enough pressure to make it like a 3-turn clock.
Yeah.
At this point, you may be forced to just Abrupt Decay to get this big old Dumbo artifact out of the way, and you also don't want them to have a mana engine. Oh, they're not going to play.
Well,
okay.
Here's the example of what I was talking about with Mana George. It's gotten huge already just off these talismans and so on.
Yeah. Well, I think it was an obligatory play. I mean, you probably don't make a difference. No. I don't even think you put it into play. I think you just leave it in hand and play out your 1/2. All right, or they're gonna play. I'm sorry for pump. Yeah.
Let's see the Mox come out. Whoa! That's interesting. Taking the Abrupt Decay.
Can they win this turn? That's aggressive, but I guess they're gonna try to win this turn. Can they?
Oh yeah.
So they play 2 more spells. That's 10. That's lethal.
Oh, all right. Well, yep.
Lethal. They have lethal. So I mean, if it's lethal, it's lethal. You play this out 4 up to 7. Play the 1-drop up to 8, and that's lethal. It's exact. Right, so makes sense.
That's a hell of a George.
Yep, that's a big boy. Boom. So that was a turn 4 kill. That's a good rate. That's medium speed, right?
That's the high end of medium speed. That's a really good medium speed.
This one,
also say that
I
it's
think medium
above average.
Yeah, I think medium red is generally like a turn 4 to turn 5 deck. I'd say it's I mean it has turn 3s. It probably sacrifices a little bit of speed over red deck wins, which I think is probably a turn 4 deck consistently. That's without interaction. Without interaction, right? I mean, your threats are much more fragile. You're running a thinner blade to do it. But
a medium Golgari though, that's a pretty quick speed. And
that was a great draw. Yep.
What medium Golgari gains over red is these sort of Abrupt Decay effects, which are very good in this particular matchup.
Yeah. I mean, medium red gets Phyrexian Revoker if you wanted it. Harsh Mentor is a card that I think you play in there. Braid, you could play Shenanigans if you really wanted to go deep. But yeah, your interaction suite's going to be a little less. You don't have hand disruption. So we're going to see a Duress here. I guess you just hit the Saheeli or the Vault. I think I hit Saheeli because, yeah. I mean, although Saheeli does template pretty poorly against Questing Beast, right?
Saheeli buys a lot of time.
Yeah, but it really doesn't.
Not against Questing Beasts, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you
against
start
other threats.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I got quoted. If it's lethal, it's lethal. Yeah, that's it's one of them things, right?
That's a truism.
If you can kill them, it's generally good to kill them.
If it's lethal is lethal has now been added to the quote database of the MTG quote for this.
Oh, he was seeing the Soul Ring. And
Soul Ring, pretty good. You get to kill this Saheeli right out the gates. That's it's not bad. Why would you decay this? Just hit him for okay. Interesting line of play. I think I would have just tapped the black mana and cast Questing Beast and hit their face and kill the Saheeli anyways.
Yeah, spending the removal on it's probably not the highest upside.
No, I think that,
and the Paradox Engine being in hand with an Urza, we could see this happen.
Well, we've got a creature tutor that can find a Collector Roof. Yeah. It's going to turn off your Soul Ring.
Rex Age as well.
But, I would just find the
probably do. Yeah, probably
just slam a damn move, win the game. It turns off your Soul Ring, but who cares? You play more lands,
Here it comes.
Yeah, plus I mean, it only costs you really 1 mana because it turns off your Soul Ring, but it boosts your... oh no, that's a Pendelhaven. Never mind, I thought it was a Cradle. I will go back to shutting up now.
Cradle and a Pendelhaven. So I think what you'll see happen is
there is a Cradle. Never mind, I'm not an idiot.
You're not. there's both in play. You'll see happen next turn if they don't draw into land to cast this questing beast, which I still think should be on board right now. But it is what it is. I mean, sometimes you misclick or you misplay.
Oh no! Oof even turns off the Citadel. That is brutal.
Yeah, no. It's the game's over. That's it.
Yep.
The Oof just ends the game. So we hit a land anyways. Play out. Oh, it's tap land though. Forgot about that. You could just find your wasteland and just take them off any mana production at all. I would just pressure them here and just win the game. This one's over though, guys. I think like Urza is one way you get out of it. So if you hit Academy, play Urza, then you can make mana with your artifacts that are turned off. You can convert Muddle the Mixture into something relevant that works with the Paradox engine, which doesn't really make mana at that point. Sensei's Dippy Tops off. Yeah, it really needs to be like Tolarian Academy into Urza to make mana off your artifacts, because Urza does work through the Oof. But I still don't know how you get through that. Like, it's still a rough spot.
This matchup was pretty brutal.
Well, I think it's also how it kind of. I don't know. I think like it's how it broke too, right? I mean, like the hands that Rayu had, and this is not to knock them, but I don't even think they were played optimally. They were just very high quality draws against what the Time Vault deck has going on. Very fast clock in the first game. This game, I think the opponent should already be dead, because Questing Beast should have probably just killed that Saheeli by hitting the player, because the way Questing Beast works for folks in the chat, if you haven't played with the card a bunch, you can hit your opponent with it, and it does that same amount of damage to the walker. But here doesn't matter. I mean, we hit the Finale of Devastation, found the Utter Haymaker card, that's just that. But the cool thing is, even though we had a pretty quick kind of game there, kind of quick, dirty game there.
That was a little rough, but
it was. It is what it is, right? But we get to see some more magic. We probably get to jump into Croc's game rematch.
It was really just a turn slow both games and getting that Urza down. If I get the Urza down, things go a lot differently. That's one of the things I saw. Like the best draw is really like Academy there, so you get the Urza down and like maybe that's what I really wanted. Yeah. I could have got the Academy down turn earlier. Get the
both
one turn
hands from Rayu were amazing hands. Like he just pressured you fast.
Though if you would have put Urza down, with the Elvish Reclaimer, I could have tutored for Caracas to bounce him back to your hand.
That's fine, because I just keep making like 6/6 tokens. So you bouncing Urza is actually something that I like. I just get to make increasingly larger Urza construct tokens.
I think the way the sequence. I think the way the sequence still works out is if, like, let's say you do hit the Academy and you get the Urza down, you probably first go for Wasteland to knock the Academy out, and then you go for the Caracas, bounce the Urza, and then they've got the one big token thing in play, and it's pretty hard for Para even to race from that point. That second hand was both hands were very strong. Both sequences of draws were very strong.
Yeah, I just had kind of slow hands, and you had the Soul Ring into the fast hands into the two. So it's actually would have been possible for me if I was trying to play around it, which I wasn't. I could have theoretically left up a Talisman in the island up and held the other Talisman back and had to Muddle the Mixture to counter the tutor, but I just don't think that's not a...
It's not a line you would have
normally. I don't know. I guess I could...
Yeah.
I don't know.
You play it to win. I mean, I think your Muddle is not in that deck. It's very far secondary purpose is to counter spells. It's really.
I didn't even think about it. Right? It's like, it does have a second mode. It's not just a 3-mana tutor.
So this game, we have the rematch here. Just to jump off, unless you guys want to talk it more, but like.
No, it's fine. Yeah, there's not much more to say, right? Like.
Yeah.
The hands just lined up really poorly, and I was just about a step too slow both games. So.
Yep. So we got an active Renin 6. We're gonna see. This is sick. Firestorm. So I'm a little poignant with Firestorm because I think this is actually a card that I recommended to Luca to play. And I love this old card. It's just a sick old card. A lot of folks, I think, undervalue it. It's not going to be like the best here. It's going to get Mental Misstep. Oh, it's so terrible. Oof. So Firestorm's a weird old card. The Firestorm works really bizarrely. So it's a 1-red mana instant. When you cast Firestorm, it does X damage to X targets. So you discard X cards, and it does X damage to X targets. It has to actually have X targets. So if there are no targets, you can target players with it. So you can always have 2 available if you want to target yourself and your opponent. But the more cards you discard, the more targets there have to be and the more damage it does. And it kind of is an old, like, techie reanimator card. I think we kind of see what happened in the is this game 2 or 3? Does anyone know?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll pop in and ask.
Yeah, it kind of looks like we're going to see a kind of a recreation of the first game. Like this Renin 6 is going to kind of just dredge a ton of value out of the deck. I've already got an answer to the Scrabbler on board in the form of a Braid if that's, a play Croc wants to make. Yeah.
Yeah, Croc might not even bother. Grave Scrabbler is.
Yeah, it's a 2/2, but it pressures this this value engine you got on board. So I could see killing it. It. Yeah, I mean, if they didn't put anything on board last turn, like you can pretty much safely assume they either have an utter blank, like a card they cannot possibly cast without discarding it, or a land. So I could see killing it, and then just leaving up the vial, or not the vial, the veil of summer. Which I think at some point is going to hit in this matchup. Like there's discard spells, there's targeted removal. It's definitely not as strong as it would be in like a matchup like against like your deck Arakasi, where like Veil of Summer is just such an utter goddamn beating.
Oh yeah, blue and black,
Yeah, you're a blue-black deck. That's just bad.
Yeah,
that's a bad feeling. All right, more land. Ugh.
Yeah,
I think I would have waited to play that land because you may get a free attack on the Renin 6 here if you don't play the land out. You may.
There goes your brain. Just making sure there's no pressure whatsoever. But they always see sort of the downside of Luca's deck. He got to do the madness thing, but all that came out was a Grave Scrabbler. It's a bit and for no value as well. There was no creatures in the graveyard.
Yep. All right, so
Croc is up 1 game. He's 1-0.
All right, yeah, it looks like this is probably going to be locked then. I'm interested in why Croc is I guess he wants to, or they want to have access to both Veil and Memory Lapse here. They're not getting lands back with the Renin 6. I would think generally you just sack the draw land there.
Yeah, just leaving it up until end of turn is not bad either. But it doesn't look like. Yeah, it is weird it wasn't sacked at the end step.
Yeah, well, you don't get a land back if you just plus the Renin 6 there, and you can still cast most of your Actually, you could cast all of them because you just replay it because there was no land played that turn. So I think I like sacking it.
The main phase version of that.
Yeah, I think you could have done it last turn with not much downside.
Yeah.
But it's, honestly, I mean, maybe it matters because like Croc's hand doesn't really do much against a 4/4 Trampler.
That is true. We
doesn't really do a lot.
Comeback based off that, but I don't think it's likely. The Renin 6 value engine is still very strong. Chances of drawing into an answer are pretty high.
They are, but we're not playing the draw land here. Like, I still think I'd play draw land and try to get that going. We're just gonna play a Rec Stage, which is still a turn 2 clock versus the worm. I'm sorry, not a 2-turn clock, but it's 2-turn hit on the Renin 6 to actually kill it with the worm. So I think I like playing draw land there and not playing the Rec Sage this turn just so I can get another card deep in the deck. I mean, it's just another land, right? This is like one of the things that can happen. So I think you try to draw here.
They don't even crack the land. Weird.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I like this line.
No, I think we've possibly missed out on like 3 to 4 draws, maybe 3 draws here that could have happened. I don't think the mana is relevant. I mean, they could be hoping to like hit like like a top deck dragon or something. They play some number of them, but
I think this is a weird strip mine. I think you save that strip mine for when the Renin 6 is gone and you need to get rid of something at this point. You just know that there's so many lands in Croc's hand.
Well, that wasn't the worst land to hit if you're going to hit a land. I mean, hitting the land that can pop for a draw is pretty rugged. And hitting the Mystic Sanctuary is also kind of rugged. I mean,
that's actually actively bad. With the Renin.
Yeah, that's just not great. But I mean, it's not like there's any cards in the yard that you really want back with this board position.
I would have just held the strip mine back. Just not even any point.
Well, that's half of the life total of this worm. So I suppose you can block next turn and then burn this thing off, but you still lose your Renin 6.
I imagine
that interaction.
She's going to go for filtering here. It does make the mono a little awkward trying to deal with this worm because you can't like use this card filtering and then kill the worm with a burn spell.
Yeah, I think I would try to filter as well, but you're off of red mana at that point, so Flame Slash is no longer a phenomenal draw.
Now it is very possible that Luca could claw their way back in. Just not sacking the lands for card draw there.
I think your best draw here is like Brazen Borrower.
Yeah, it's a good one to draw. I don't think I think we're gonna see the Renin 6 die. I think the Renin 6 is just gonna die here. I don't think they're gonna go for the filtration off of it because I think they just want an assured way to get rid of this worm. But it could be a massive blowout because the block happens here and they have Into the Wind.
But Croc has Veil of Summer.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Fair enough. They can get a draw off of it here.
Well, no, it gets hexproof from blue and black. So
and the draw, right? So like, I mean, they're gonna get it back. But I mean, this could be a pretty spiteful punish here. It could be pretty rough.
This is still not the worst for Luca.
The Brennan 6 still dies. They still get the creature off the board. You lose your ward, but whatever. You'll draw another random creature.
Yeah, but there's an Ooze which is going to compete. It's gonna
pretty big, pretty fast.
Yeah, it's a threat, right? Now you possibly don't sack your draw land. I mean, you don't have the Brennan 6 recursion anymore.
Although there are only two creatures in the graveyard right now. Oh, there's the true
name. Is that true name Nemesis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, kind of looking back at this sequence, I think had there been more draws off of the draw land there, the canopy land with Brennan 6, the Brennan 6 would likely have remained in play. Kind of seeing some of the cards deeper. It's hard to say because there's a lot of fetch lands popped, but I mean, I think you probably this game probably could have been a little more firmly in hand. Now it's probably over now, right?
Yeah, there's not much to get around the true name.
You're gonna swing for 6th and swing for 7, 13. There's still a 3-turn clock right here, I think. Although any burn spells can shorten that.
Yeah, and there's no Toxic Deluge in their deck, right? That's a card that could go ham.
Yeah, I don't think so. I can take a look.
But it create 2 or 3. Well, they can't Madness it right now, so.
Is there any opportunity to scavenge and use a Madness card out of the graveyard before it?
No, you discard into exile and then cast from exile when the triggered ability resolves.
That is 100% right. Yeah, there's not a way to do it. Now, flashback cards, it works pretty good against, but yeah, the Madness ones.
I don't see a Toxic Deluge in here.
Can't hammer.
I don't think there's any Wrath in here.
Now, that said, I believe Madness cards actually get hosed by effects like Teferi, 3 Fairy.
Yes, because there's a triggered ability on the stack for the Madness spells, you cannot cast them.
Yeah, which is a funny interaction.
Or the Eldrazi manipulators that remove cards from exile.
Yeah,
yes.
That too, yep. The ingest cards.
Just like how you can clique someone's Miracle out of their hand in response to a Miracle trigger.
Yep.
Still, this buys 2 more turns with these zombies and this blocking this Ooze.
And Luca draws a land. Not much chance at.
Yep, it feels like probably scoop phasey. Oh, they're gonna attack in. All right. I mean, if they're gonna win this game, they're probably not winning it by blocking. So.
That does open them being dead to a bolt now, though.
I mean, they got a high roll here. I like to play. I like to play. You got a high roll from this position. You got to hit your. I don't know, a Madness Fireball, Conflagrate or something. I don't know what you hit. I don't think there is a hit.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if the 2 damage is worth dying to any red spell in Croc's deck.
Well, what are you going to draw from that point? I don't know. I mean, I like the attack actually. I mean, it's not going to matter. They're dead, but I think is there another creature in the graveyard? There may not be.
Yeah,
they're at 7 and there's 8 on board. Yeah.
Oh, it's a 5/5. It's a 5/5. All right, fair enough. The resolution was a little low, like a 3/3 still to me.
How many lands do you think would be in Luca's deck?
I think we went over this. I think there's 38.
Yeah, that's more than I would have expected. I mean,
I think it's
it's 38 0 drops, so that's including Bazaar of Baghdad. There's a couple of mocks too, though. There's a lot of mana sources.
Yeah. Well, it's also wasteland. I mean, people can count as lands, but in that deck, it's very pip intensive. I wouldn't count wasteland as a land. Bazaar, not really a land. So
there's a lot of filtration in the deck, though.
Yeah,
which is why I would have expected less.
Yeah. I mean, it could be. I mean, I think one of the odd things is though you start looking at reanimator strategies, and they're honestly not that land light in this format. They tend to be a little more landed.
Well, they tend to be a little more control as far as decks go, and so those decks really want to be hitting their land drops.
Yep. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, guys. Cool games from all participants. As I was saying at the beginning, Croc's still live. Croc, you're taking it down, bud. I want to see Questing Beast just win the finals. I don't know why. That card is ridiculous.
Questing Beast mirror match?
Yeah, I want to see Questing Beast just slamming into each other.
Can you hang out for one more round, Loman, or do you need to leave? Because
I'll allow the beasts to slam into each other if I can give mine first strike.
Yeah, I don't need to leave. I need to take a quick break.
Oh,
just for
yeah. Sorry, okay,
like,
I misunderstood. Yeah.
1 to 2 minutes. But
Go
I'll be
do
back.
whatever break things you need to do. Never
How did
mind.
the-
We do need you
how did the other
commentary
match
for
go?
next round if you can do it.
Oh, I got
Speaking
absolutely
of next
destroyed
round,
in 2.
what's gonna happen
I had
now
my hands
is
were
that-
both like about a turn too slow, and I got aggroed out the first game with a Mana George on
fuck.
1, the Soul Ring or whatever, and then game 2 I got oofed before I could get my Urza down. I died both games with Urza in hand and like 4 mana in play off rocks. But
is
it's
Oof
matches.
the creature type that has the best ratio of cards existing with that creature type to good cards existing with that creature type?
I think
Because
some people
there's
would
like
argue
2
with
good
goblins,
oofs out
but-
of like 6 total oofs, right?
Well, goblins get held back by the fact that there's like 4 goblins
So
in
there's
every set.
13 oofs.
Yeah, and like 2 of them are good. 3 of them.
Yeah. You've got Kitchen Finks, you have Collector Oof. If you like Commander, there's Gilder Baron.
I would say that Gilderbairn counts. As like
Dusk Urchins.
as like an oof that is like not embarrassing, right? Like
So, what's happening in this next round?
right, yeah, sure.
It should be.
Alright,
There's a
so
1-3
basically
oof
here is
with-
what's going
with
on.
fake
We're gonna finally unleash Arakasi on
So we are- Rayu.
on the rest of the finals. We're gonna have our winners final. Arakasi is gonna play Rayu in the winners finals on the winners side of the gauntlet, and in the meantime we're gonna have so. With this, sadly, Luca is eliminated. Sorry to see him go. And we are going to see in the losers bracket Ryu and... sorry, we're going to see in the winners bracket Ryu face Farstin Arakasi. And in the meantime, on the losers bracket, we're going to see Croc and...
My journey ends with a defense grid into a time vault.
That's the ideal.
Croc and Para.
I was gonna say, I do think it's funny. It is kind of funny in this tournament structure. It is possible to watch the same match occur 3 times.
Yeah, it is.
If someone gets knocked out early against someone who goes on to win the winners bracket,
Yeah,
win the
run it
losers
out.
bracket,
Yeah.
and
The design of the gauntlet means you could go really ham on trying to like figure out mathematically, like, what if I bet on only these 2 players continuing?
Yeah, I mean, if
to
you
win?
think, okay, this
So I
deck
just
can win like
meta
this,
to beat. I meta an average deck versus the guy I don't think I'm going to get against, and then I just meta to beat Para and beat Erikazi and hope that one of them wins the losers bracket and beat them again.
Yeah, exactly.
So
But then there's like 8 layers deep, and you just pick red deck wins because you've given up.
I think that strategy like actually more strongly favors folks higher on the bracket.
Definitely. That would be a terrible strategy for me because I have to face everyone.
No, I actually did that with that stupid.
Because considering like
Stupid
Arakasi,
he just ran the gauntlet.
Like at a certain point, I just have to go. I'll just pick something I like.
I think the most
Alright,
matches you
so
could play
in the
is
booth
like
for
5.
this round, we're gonna have Luca and Loman. We are gonna be watching the winners finals. So we are gonna be watching again. Oh my God, Ryu and Arakasi, but battle for it, and we're gonna do the same. Where if they finish early, we're gonna move to the.
To verify for the
winners
watching crowd, this is basically best of 5, right? Because there's 2 matches, correct?
Not yet. This is just
the way
It's
it'll
the
go
last
down,
match of
best
the
of
winners
5
bracket.
if Erikazi wins the losers
Yeah.
bracket.
Basically,
Okay,
But if Erikazi doesn't win that, then it wouldn't even be a
But
shoot-off.
neither players in this like first finals approach is tournament death, right?
No. Basically, these
Real life
determines,
death, however, I will come to
the-
your house and kill you
yeah.
if you lose.
the
Jesus.
winning player of this
Savage.
match is the
Logical.
basically feeds the winner side of the bracket into the grand finals, if that makes
Yep.
sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is interesting that it's possible for Erikasi to win having played only 2 matches, or
Yes.
it's possible if you come from 5, you could win having played like 7 or 8 matches.
But to be
That's
fair,
good.
considering how dominant his season
Yeah,
was,
no,
I don't
absolutely.
feel
And
bad
it's
about that. Like, I think
Yeah,
that
no,
If
it's
Arakasi
also
someone has
does
a problem, they
deserve...
can show up with red deck wins next
It's
season.
possible that you come into the 5th slot and someone works their way through the winner or losers gauntlet and just crushes you. So, yeah. All right.
It is entirely possible.
All right.
It
I-
may-
so let's
it-
do the same
it-
thing where we have Luca, sorry, we have Ryu and Arakasi just wait with their hands drawn while I set things up. I will and you guys. I mean, you guys keep talking, but I'm gonna have you wait in this chat while until I tell you, hey, let's go, and don't talk about their hands.
Okay, so a couple interesting things on the match.
And I'll just go die brutally to Volt.
You just get it. You'll get it, man. You got the braid. So a couple things on this matchup. Generally, I think this is actually a fairly tight matchup. I think it's gonna be an interesting one. Some of it is going to come down to a little bit of the RNG in the opening hands for Ryu. Ryu is playing a quote-unquote medium deck. So, I mean, you have like the Soul Ring Mana Crypt power in that deck and then a bunch of just 4-drops. So one of the things that you'll kind of see out of the medium red style decks and the other medium decks like medium white or aka Angel Stompy is that if you can get those fast mana draws or the Ancient Tomb draws, you can kind of do what I call bomb train people out. Like just cast 3-drop, 4-drop, 4-drop, 4-drop and just, eventually they don't answer one of them or they can't, outrace one of them because they're generally pretty monolithic and polarizing threats and just win. So Arakasi's on like what I would classify as a mid-rangey tempo deck. It's somewhere kind of in between. It's a tempo-oriented kind of deck that runs a mock spread in it. So most tempo spreads you typically see run like a time walk or ancestral recall. This deck is a little more aggressive than those builds. Has probably some bigger, slightly better threats. But in general, they're going to be more disruptive threats than they're going to be fast threats. So you'll see cards like, Ashiok, Nightmare Weaver, Muyan Ling, Vampire Nighthawk, those kind of threats. So a little bit of a slower clock, but a lot more disruption in that build. They've also got a lot of hard removals, so like Go for the Throats, Fatal Pushes, can deal with a lot of the threats that are going to come out of the medium Golgari deck. I really do think it's kind of a coin tossy matchup. I think it is kind of die roll dependent, and then it's going to depend on the RNG. I think a lot more out of the black green deck, which is going to play more favorably to very good RNG, like having those good, solid, fast, rampy hands, like accelerated hands. But we've seen that out of the deck so far today. We've had some pretty quick hands. And that said, like I do think that the black-green deck is a little less RNG driven, just due to having more mana dorks in it, so more access to kind of like a more median mana source. That's kind of my take on the matchup. Yeah, I don't know. Are we?
Red Mage?
No, sorry. I'm almost done, but we are not quite ready. But I'll need like 30 seconds. We're almost done.
That's my take on the matchup. I don't know if anyone else hanging out in chat's got anything else to kind of say on it or what they think on it. That's just kind of my thoughts. I don't have much else to say. I think that was pretty didactic and thorough.
Wolfgang Cloud silence! Says, Somebody feel the silence. There's silence on air.
I'm here. So Wolfgang Cloud brings up a very important point in chat that he's going to be here with Red Deck Wins next season. I like the way you think. I like the way you think. Just pressure these gosh darn
every season.
Well, it's not.
We already had season 3.
I mean, Croc's deck is basically Red Deck Wins. I mean, it's got Stomp in it. It's got some Chain Lightning.
It's a lot more mid-rangey than.
No, it's base. I think he runs Pop in there too. I mean, it's basically Red Deck Wins. I'm kidding. It's Croc's deck's not Red Deck Wins, guys. There's really only one deck that I would classify as like basically an aggro deck, and that would be the medium Golgari deck. It's mid-range at aggro speed. It's mid-range size threats at aggressive speed. So I tend to classify them as aggressive decks because their play patterns tend to model off of that. Just a little more RNG driven.
All right, now we're good to go.
Like
okay.
Sorry, so a lot of mid-range, a lot of we got some Vault here. Although Vault, got hammered. All right, so this hand's good on the bottom hand. The top hand, we got a turn 1 Delver, probably a key. Got turn 2 him off of one of the duels. Get rid of the duel that comes into play. Tap makes sense. Got some card draw in it, some hand disruption. Oh, okay. So Ray did not keep the Soul Ring turn 2 Mana Gorger draw, which I think I probably would have kept in a round 1 versus a blue-black deck. It's just so fast. So kind of you see Ryu kind of going back on their heels and not taking like the more aggressive keeps. That was an aggressive keep. It had issues with mana kind of going wrong.
Yeah,
but
the blue-black deck is not the best at pressuring that, but also like
turn 1 Delver's no slouch. I mean, we're gonna see him on turn 2.
My point is that it doesn't run as many like in blue-red, for example, right? You have a bunch of tools to pressure in their mana base. In this handle, you get the hint to Turok, which is basically like we could see both lands discarded, and then this isn't a game.
We could, but I don't. If it hits well, it hits well. It's RNG driven, right? If it doesn't hit well and it misses this Ancient Tomb and either Garrick or the Questing Beast, then it's gonna be pretty good. And even here with just one land in hand, yeah, but this hand's still fine, right? Like you have a good Zenith,
fine, but it definitely like lost a lot. Because now this counter spell is going. Spell is gonna be up by the time that Garruk.
Sure, that's fine though. Like I think that's honestly fine for the medium deck. The threat density in this deck is so goddamn high that like you can't really 1-for-1 with counter spells without a clock on them. So this Delver really needs to flip to kind of present some pressure.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. It's gonna be a clock eventually.
I think the click's going to be a clock as soon as they can make it one. I think I would opt to click draw phase over leaving up counterspell if I am able to do it on the following turn, because you need to present that pressure. And you're going to get this Garrick out of hand. If there's two things, it sucks. But I think you just do it so you can actually pressure them. And I think you're going to see Arakasi do that because I think they played this deck a lot. I think that's the line that makes the most sense versus Ryu. The more time you give Ryu, the better off they're going to be. You can't counterspell is just a blanket in this matchup. Like they're going to draw more 4-drops and 3-drops that are high impact and then kill people fast. Hex Drinker, not a bad find. Like I just don't think you have the time to just sit on counterspell. And if this flips, that doesn't flip. Finds a land, I would assume. Yep. Like I said, I'm curious to see how they play this, but I do think the right play is just to slam this V-click. I like the attack too. Get the point in. Every point's going to matter here. They're going to be taking one casting this V-click anyways. And I'm like, oh, they're not. They're going to draw. They don't have another land drop here. This is the play that I would not have expected. And I don't think I like. I think I like just slamming the V-click there. Huh. Interesting line of play. I think I would have done that next turn so I could have double mana for counterspell. If I hit the land drop.
Ooh,
all right, so they're actually not going to play the Garruk out here. They're going to play around Pierce and just pump this thing up. This thing is a very tough threat once it has protection from instants to deal. Yeah, and they can't really... They can stifle one of these triggers, but it's not going to be enough to keep it off becoming a 4/4. It's... Yeah. Yep.
Hey.
Someone was saying something.
Hello. I'm back.
Hey.
Hello,
Hey.
What game are we looking at?
So we're looking at Arakasi versus Ryu here. So this is medium Golgari versus blue-black tempo, mid-range tempo. Yep. Ryu's kind of playing this one a lot more conservatively, which is interesting. Like the first couple of games, they played them very aggressively as far as their keeps go, and as far as how they were willing to sequence spells. They played this one a lot more conservatively, So interesting to see the kind of change in pace of their gameplay. Like here, I think I would have just slammed the Garruk, and if they have the Pierce, they have the Pierce. They could have Daze too, but okay. So we're going to see this into him to Turek, which will eat the rest of the hand. But honestly, right now, the problem is not the hand; it's this soon-to-be 6/6 that's really putting a lot of pressure on Arakasi's life total. They do have the Vendilion click. All right, that's a Hydra. I think I just save that thing until after I make this thing a 6/6, but that's just me. Yeah, I just get this thing to a point where like you have to wrath the board at the same time killing all your creatures. Now, if the Delver flips, they get to crank in for 5 plus have an additional 3 on the following turn. But what they don't know is that if Ryu just draws another land, like they're gonna have them dead next turn. Most likely. I mean, I guess they can block with the V click. The click will probably get cast and just kill this Mistcutter. But I just don't think it's quick enough. Like this is going to be 4, down to 13. Play click on the next upkeep. Get rid of this Mistcutter Hydra.
Didn't get rid of the Mistcutter.
No, because I think he expected to be able to counter the next threat except the Mistcutter Hydra.
Yeah, I just think you need the threat. I think if you're planning on winning this game, you need the threat. That's why like the line with the draw. The Charter Course I didn't care for. I liked just clicking on that very turn. And it's not just in having the hidden information either. It's the fact that if I can get that thing down and get rid of the best threat in their hand, I'm not going to have counterspell up, but I'll have developed my board position to a point where I'm actually capable of racing them. I know with Charter Course, I'm not making a land drop that turn to be able to leave up counterspell. So on the following turn, if I don't have my next land drop to leave up counterspell, I like, attacking and then Charter Coursing to find the next land drop and then, blew them out with the counterspell. Interesting. I think it's very interesting from both perspectives. Like, I would have expected Arakasi to be more aggressive with that hand. And I think Ryu was a lot more conservative, which is an interesting change of pace because they've kept some hands in this tournament so far that were fairly aggressive and had ladder advancement kind of on the line, aka like the game 3 versus Croc.
They're gonna hold to 5 this game.
Yeah, but this hand is not one that per se just loses. I mean, it's got a Soul Ring.
Yeah, but it doesn't have anything to do with the Soul Ring yet. Like, you are kind of at the mercy.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. It's got a finale of devastation if they hit the other green source.
Yeah.
It's standard they don't hit it, but I don't think this hand is cold. The memory lapse.
I think the mana needs to work out, and you need this finale of devastation. Like, the problem is that you need to be able to actually like the finale of devastation could fight something that like you tap out for the finale, it get dismembered. You end up in a situation
but if they
where
just hit a Mistcutter Hydra here, they can definitely get into a spot where dismember. So dismember is possibly going to answer this thing. I doubt you just kill this. I guess they do.
Relapse it.
They do.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it main phase. I'd just do this on their upkeep or on their EOT.
Yeah, upkeep is probably the right time.
Yeah,
I think.
but
tie up their turn with the least amount of information. You don't want to redraw this either. This is obviously a bad redraw.
He didn't do it. He did the main phase, and now Cassie gets to untap.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what we were saying. That like, I think that was a mistake. We didn't do not to do that main phase. Arakasi has a Rankle to his hand.
I am not a fan of this card. I think it's going to be fine in this position because you're already really well ahead. I just don't know how set I am on it in Can later. Like, if you don't feel like you can cast it, I guess you don't have the mana to cast here. That's a Mox, not a Soul Ring. And they know they have the answer to it in hand, so even if they draw the land, they have a counter for it now.
Man, every draw from Arakasi's hand is a hammer that's gonna keep in my head. There's like a Force of Negation now.
No, they're. I think Arakasi's got this one probably pretty well locked up. I mean, you just cast this Rex Sage to get it countered. It can't be countered, so it's gonna blow up another mana source. Not irrelevant. It also puts pressure down. You can dismember it. Yeah, this is big because Arakasi's mana has not developed exceedingly well. And it definitely takes them off of the best Snapcaster lines, like good Snapcaster equity later on. I wouldn't be shocked if they just blow this thing up to put more cards in the bin. You don't play life for it here, but yeah, to put more things in the bin so that they can dig through time sooner to find probably their land drops and like the next relevant threat or removal spell. All right. Well, Collective Brutality is gonna get something. Curious to see if Dismember is a play that's made here. It's evidently not during the main. I think I would be willing to pitch it out there and just get rid of this thing because it feels pretty apparent that Arakasi's trying to fuel his bin, and for us with like our view, we know it's for two reasons: the Terramander plus the dig through time. But from Ryu's position, it's probably I would just assess the board. Although I would know that like dig was a possibility or Treasure Cruise. So we're gonna see this thing. Is it gonna pitch something? I wouldn't be shocked if we saw it pitch this Rankle because this Rankle is pretty far off. And it would be kind of nice to set up the dig through time for next turn while still having the Force of Negation back up.
That is indeed what we're seeing.
I think you just dismember in response here. I think I would get rid of this thing because it's...
Yeah.
Nope, they don't. Huh.
And they don't even take the dismember.
Oh, it looks like I'm being requoted. Dismember. They took the highest power card. Which I can get behind. That makes decent sense to me. The finale can definitely be worse for them. Although they can counter it, with their in-card counterspell or in-hand counterspell. We also have a dig through time.
We might be getting close to digging time yet. That's relatively soon.
Yeah.
So all right, can this Terramander flip right now, and does it matter? No, it probably.
How much does it
cannot.
cost for Terramander to flip right now?
It's 8 total, but it's reduced by 3.
Yeah.
So it's
right now 1.
So I like this exchange. If I'm on dark side, or Ryu side, I like this exchange. Getting my thing dismembered takes them further off of. I honestly think I would have just dug through time here. I think you can take a beat for a bit. You're gonna get a 1/1 out of this, so it blocks the Snapcaster anyways. That's a pretty big one. Now they can just wipe their board, and then like Arakasi's at a point where he's gonna have a dig through time, but like you're really dependent on that dig through time to find
do you force of negation this?
No. I mean, you don't. No, your dig through time is how you stay alive in this game. You can't. I mean, you can, but like I think it's really bad. I don't like that line. You know, I would probably. I think I saved the dismember, but I don't know if I pitch it here. Just because you get under 1 point of damage, but the next turn, if you don't have a relevant play to make, you can also just like, blossoming defense or vines of the vast with this thing. That was a good draw. Now we're looking for lands. Best deck, or what's that?
Cassie has been playing very cautiously here, but I think that the dismember from Ryu is maybe a response to his passiveness from last game, biting him in the butt.
Yeah, so from Ryu's side, no, he did, but he played it very passively. Like unlike the games he played before, he definitely changed up his play style a bit. And I don't know if that was like, hopefully it wasn't just due to our commentary. I mean, like, I wasn't trying to be hard on him with some of the critiques on play. I don't think he played it poorly. Like here, like I think I honestly would have been more aggressive with the Call Brute and like force them to force it. I.e., these 2 pump spells are just dumpsters in the hand right now. I would pitch one to kill the creature and take a look at the hand and eat anything that I could eat out of it. Now this Thrun is a beating if you can cast it. It's pretty good.
I mean, it's a beating to a degree, right? Because this Gormag Angler can kind of answer it by blocking it indefinitely.
Yeah, but by the time you can play Thrun, you can Vines of the Vastwood it, plus Blossoming Defense it.
True. Right? Also, but the Gormag Angler is probably also gonna grow. There's this Drana.
Yep, we got a Drana coming out. Let's just see
there's a force of negation that could conceivably answer one of those things. There's some stuff going on.
Yeah. All right, well, there's a Mana Dork that doesn't really do much.
Yeah, wrong color.
Yeah. Oh, he still doesn't have a 7 green. So...
Yeah. I think we're going to see Arakasi lock this one up. Although, I do think that Call Brute, I think that Call Brute was a big play this game, where if we had seen it, not kicked, whatever it's called, escalated, we could have seen a much different game. We still would have seen Jace, the Mind Sculptor, most likely hit the board. So yeah, I couldn't tell you like which way it probably would have gone from there, but it definitely was big that the dig through time got to be left in hand when they were down to 2 cards, the pitch counter. Well, there is the mana for casting Thrun, and it's gonna probably put Arakasi's pressure in an awkward spot. Although Ryu's already at a pretty low life total, and if you go to the air here, it's gonna put you in pretty good stead, I think. You can also get rid of the pump spell, but
also like Arakasi's almost in a position to just start swinging.
Yeah. I think here you probably do just swing with the.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to trade their board for your.
I think honestly here I don't even bother leaving up the mana drain here. I think I just slam Delver into the Drana and just say, hey, I'm taken to the skies. Like, what are you going to do about it? So yeah, I mean, I think the dig getting to resolve and having this Jace with a means of pressure on board and or blocking if necessary is just it's gonna end this game.
Yeah,
unless they're playing like some
dig through time is a good card.
Well, if they had something crazy like Revenge of the Hunted, and we knew Arakasi wasn't on a pact, a Force of Negation, like that could be a card that turns it. But
yeah, I almost would have I almost like just swing with the fish there. They probably, well, they might jump with the thing, which is also fine. And then if they don't block, you just have lethal in the air.
I think it's a missed attack. Yeah. I think it's a missed attack. There, Revenge of the Hunter. There you guys go. It's a miracle. It forces all these creatures to block that one creature, and it makes it massive. It's a cool card. Doesn't see a lot of play though. Probably mostly because the decks that could play it don't have a lot of top tuners.
Die here. Drana will probably die.
We have Vines of the Vastwood, so no, it won't. It'll get +4/+4 and have Shroud, right? Or have,
Yeah,
right.
they only have the
It
Shroud.
depends on
They only
who
have
casts
the
it.
Shroud half.
Yeah.
Right, they don't have 3. Oh no, they do have 3 mana.
So I don't know.
So this is gonna
You're priced into killing this fish, aren't you?
Yeah, the fish has got to go. What they're hoping to do is kill this Drana too, but now this is the Drana is more relevant because you want to go to the air here. You have the Jace to bounce like non-hexproof critters, so like you don't really have to worry about getting out tempoed off the top.
Protecting. Okay, protecting the Drana.
Yeah,
which I think is interesting.
I think it's correct, to be honest. I think
Is it? No, you have lethal.
Well, if you lose the Drana,
yeah, if the Delver flipped, it was lethal, right? Because that was gonna be.
Yeah, but they're not.
It will flip because you.
Yeah, we knew it'd flip. Yeah, we knew it'd flip.
So you have lethal on board there with the Gurmag Angler. It doesn't
fair
really
enough.
matter, but
yeah, fair enough. They also could have been worried about that last card they did not know about in the hand, which could have been something that needed to get force negation. I mean, maybe once they saw the mana tap, they're like, all right, at this point, I feel pretty safe. Now, I will say from Ryu's side, they should have allowed the first pump spell to resolve before they started trying to cast the second one. But
I think just the priority threw them off.
I could see like a rationale from Arakasi's side if that first one had resolved and they opted to go for the second one post resolution of the first, like not wanting to pitch the pitch counter before then, just in case like they rando get mised by like something crazy, that they could have stopped.
So here they choose to put out the Smuggler's Copter instead of running out the Horde.
Yeah, I don't think that's a horrible play. The Horde's fine, but I mean it's a fast clock on yourself, and they got to force a will out of it. I mean, I think Smuggler's Copter honestly is probably better than Pitiless Horde.
Yeah, Radio's got a pretty definitely. Radio's got a pretty good hand here.
And it's funny that the interaction comes up because I was actually playing a game against Arakasi with Death Taxes.
So I think also Croc and
Pitiless Horde. I got absolutely destroyed in 2.
All right,
no,
so we have.
Don't like
I don't like counter spells needed at all the right times.
I do not like dashing this out.
No, absolutely not. This is one more damage, but at the cost of not having. Like, you send for 4 here, they go to 12. You have like 9 haste next turn.
At the same time, like they can play this big Dumbo questing beast out, and it can't get blocked by this this Nighthawk, right?
Yep.
So they're priced into a spot where they have to attack because your opponent doesn't need to race. So and this will probably get mental misstep, but it kind of hurts to lose the 2 life on it. This Deathrite Shaman. And then, like, they're put in a spot where they need to attack, but they can't really block. So the opponent, because they have this dash critter, and if they attack, that's, I'm pretty sure, enough to kill them.
Yeah, Deathrite Shaman in the shock is not terrible.
Overall, Erikazi is in a not great position.
Yeah, no, this is rough.
This is not where they want to be.
Nope, this is a rugged one. All right, so we take this. Like I said, Croc. Like,
from our perspective, it's even worse because we can see the hand.
Questing Beast needs to make it in the finals one way or another. I got my eye on Questing Beast here. All right. What does Drana do here?
Well, we're down to 3 players.
If Rayu closes this, it's happening.
No, well, we're down to 3, right? It's you, Rayu, and Arakasi.
So
Rayu wins.
There will
Beast
be a
is in the finals period.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be one. Well, no, because we could both have heart attacks. Yeah.
All right, so Arakasi's not per se out of this, guys. Like we got this Gurmag Angler here. Just blocking.
Arakasi is not gonna be out of it, period, right? Pretty much no matter what, because Gurmag Angler was a great draw.
Arakasi is 100% out.
Even if he loses, he's not out.
Harder spot.
Yeah. I meant in this game. Yeah. That's a pretty good one. That's the thing with the medium decks, right? This is what I would call like the bomb train draw, where you just like your mana gets established, and because you're a relatively low mana count deck, like after you get your mana established, you start casting these like just bombastic haymakers. You're just like, what are you gonna do?
Beep, beep.
Yeah. what are you gonna do? Like try something,
Answer me! And
Nighthawk
me!
attack?
And me!
You know your deck. Well, it has to. It can't block, so it can't gain. Well, can't
Yeah,
block
it
anything
could block the
relevant.
Pitiless Horde. We knew that was in the hand.
Which you knew
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
But then I
It's
guess
also
you can
interesting-
not dash the Pitiless Horde and force the Gormagang to dash the Pitiless Horde, so that's not
Yeah.
great.
You know you're in a good position when you're swinging with your Mana Dork, or you're in a really bad position. But
Yeah.
Either. Could be both.
I think this game should be over. To be honest, I think there was a better way to sequence this.
Yeah.
With the Horde and the 4s and 5 drops. Just gonna throw it out there. I think the Pitiless Horde is. I love that card in like Sui Black, and it's fine in this deck too. But it's like the last thing you want to cast.
yeah, I
I
think
used
the
to play
Questing
that card
Beast-
in Standard. The whole
I think
lot.
Beast into Horde
So
would have
did
been a better line.
Yeah, and now we have a first striker back. What does that mean for us? All right. Well, this allows you to.
It means you can trade with. Well, you can
I
trade
think I think you just play the big dumbass Nullhide Fair. I guess maybe you can't because then you have another non-creature stuck in hand. You could just fire. Just make
you just swing in the Horde and make them trade with, or Nissa and make them.
Nissa, make them trade. Yeah.
You do lose a land though, and that means that I guess you could still Horde next turn.
Yeah, and this Fatal Push could be relevant at that point, right? Because you can Fatal Push the Elf and then hope they don't Mize land.
Yeah,
They took
put
a
down to
card.
3 mana.
Oh,
All right, so Questing Beast is back in the house. That's rugged.
I really
Yeah,
like that.
I
That's a
mean-
much better. That's a heads up play.
Well, you see, it's risky, right? Because I mean, like they run hard
Is it?
removal. Yes,
Yeah,
it's better
yes,
from
it is
our
risky.
perspective because we can see Arakazi's hand
Right.
and know the
Well,
struggle with it.
but we also know, like he says he's a fetch. We also know that like they're playing like go for the throats and stuff like that, right? I mean, so like it's not the matchup where like Questing
Oof.
Beast like doesn't survive everything, right? It's not like he
Brainstorms into
bolts.
3 dead
Yeah.
cards.
No, he doesn't. Those fetch lands are highly relevant because they
When
allow
you're
him.
at 1 life,
He's
well, I
at
guess now
1
you do
life.
have the Questing.
Yeah, but he's gonna gain life because he's got.
that
this-
makes it even more relevant though because you can choose how you die.
Yeah, it's true. You definitely attack. Well, you probably
Well,
attack
Lisa
face
has
with
to
the
die.
Drana. Yeah, but you attack face with the Drana to give the plus
Yep.
one counter first strike, gain 3 life, back up to 4. You have the fetch available to knock out the Questing Beast in the following turn. I think given different sequencing in this game and kind of like less aggressive use of the Pitiless Horde, you would have put less good numbers up early, but I think you would have applied so much pressure by the time you were casting what I call the Black Lava Axe.
Yeah.
The game would have ended. So it's just interesting to see, right?
I would have liked
Yeah,
to
I
see
think-
this
I think-
no hide hit the board a little earlier, given
I
the
think Questing
Do
Beast
you
ways
cast
Arakazi
thoughts?
can deal with these.
I think you cast thoughts is here. Do you take the Questing Beast out?
No, I
Or
would.
to take,
No, 'cause
one of the other cards?
real heads up play. Thoughtseize, take the no hide first. Don't do that.
Thoughtseize
Yeah.
for Horde. I can
Don't do
see.
that, kids.
No, actually you can't, right? Because then you die to the Mana Dork. Never mind.
You do a pump spell here, like taking this line. If you like are for if they had a pump spell in hand and they hit land, cast out the Questing Beast.
Oh,
and
Heat
have-
to Turek? Are we gonna see that?
Oh,
No.
you use the fetch now, so you don't have the
No, we don't see
fatal
any
push online anymore.
That's an interesting play to me. So I guess you're
Fine.
boxed into having to do that.
Oh no!
So they have to hit 2 exact
Please,
cards.
please, please, please.
Why? Why?
Please.
Like that.
I
Why
don't-
is this happening? Why
I
is
don't
this
because
happening?
sequencing is
Why?
yeah.
Why
Oof.
is this happening? I'm sorry, Arcasi. I'm not trying to be mean. I don't know why that happened, though, man. Ugh. That's all right. I mean, you got another game. It's gonna put it's gonna make this tournament more interesting.
I think there's about the sequencing of that last turn there, but
Yeah. Well, there was some sequencing things that I would question.
well, yeah, like
from my
cracking a
perspective.
fetch there.
Well, no,
when-
but like,
when you know they
like
have Questing Beast.
all sides of it, right? Like I think the sequencing on the black green side was a little bit it was very aggressive. As opposed to like developmental during turns that I would have generally like expected development into like the aggressive like finisher, i.e. the dash card, Pitiless Horde.
Yeah, I think I also
yeah, the other side, I
definitely
felt
like Questing Beast into Pitiless Horde there probably would be
Yeah.
how I'd want to sequence it, just because you keep that damage on board.
Yeah, the
but-
reason I cracked the fetch there instead of holding up the fatal push was I knew they had the Pitiless Horde, which the fatal push
Yeah.
can't touch. So I felt like I needed to find a counterspell or something. and I
Is
just
there an
didn't.
argument? I was going to ask, like, maybe you could have just killed the Nissa with the Nighthawk, kept back the Drana to block a Horde, and kept up the fetch for Questing Beast.
Drana doesn't kill Horde at that point.
No, but it chumps, and it lets you untap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why doesn't Fatal Push hit the Pitiless Horde?
Isn't it
It's
5 mana?
5 mana, dashes for
It-
3, right?
No,
It's a
it's
3-mana
3 mana
spell.
dashes for
Black
4.
and 2.
3 and it dashes for 4.
Yep, exactly. So Fatal Push does the same
Okay.
thing. because like their
Oh,
mana
have a
efficiency,
section.
their mana efficiency is going to be what's tied up. They're not going to be able to two threat with what you know of their hand at that point. So like it is what it is, man. It's all learning, right? But I think you had a good shot at, like, you had it turned. I felt like so
Luca
it
turned on his camera, so now he's on stream. Smile.
yeah. Yep. Medium Golgari go in the distance.
All right, so we are gonna get to watch the losers final now for a little.
Yeah, I know Ray had some rough
we are
games
gonna-
or rough
so-
weeks getting to here, but definitely paying off. Just the time and the experience
Due
with the
to
deck.
the result of our last match, we also have Croc eliminated from the tournament now. Thanks.
No.
This.
I'm
Other way
eliminated.
around.
Croc beat me.
Sorry. We also have Para.
I was the
eliminated
one with
from-
backfade, and
Hey,
they were the one with
hey.
artifacts.
Red Mage, I'm not right about many things in life, but Croc's gonna take it down. I'm sorry, Luca. Croc's gunning for you. He's coming.
Well,
He's
now I'm
coming.
fucked.
Arcasian. No, Luca's
No,
idea,
it's called the double woolly. I mean, like, if you do it yourself, like, you got to say it yourself too, Croc, because I mean, it's like, you
You've
know,
got like so many layers of wooling though, because I've said like
exactly.
3 times now. Well, now this is when I die,
yeah,
and I was right one of those times.
Okay,
You're-
can
you're already
somebody
dead.
Please explain
To
It's
point
true.
out
to the
that
chat, please.
people have
While
asked
also,
explicitly
I'm telling you, I
Actually,
do my
here
best
is
with
what we're
lists
gonna
that
do.
I haven't
using
actually
the
tested.
woolly.
just to be clear, we are going to watch the losers final now, which is gonna be Croc versus Orcasi.
okay.
We're
Alright.
gonna do the
This
same
tournament has
thing
been
where people
90% of the
start
sex
setting
matches.
things up
So-
and they start capturing everything while they have their hands drawn. Please explain what wooling is to chat while we do
Yeah,
this.
sure thing. So, like, woollying is generally when you're playing. You don't really per se have to be playing a worse deck. Like, generally, it's used in a bad matchup, right? So, like, I'm playing red deck wins versus like Selesnya, little kid aggro, or something like that. It's a bad matchup, right? And if I'm on the red deck wins deck, normally I'm like, oh, you already got me, bud. Like, I'm just so friggin' dead. There's no way I can win this, and then you just win it anyways, right? So, like, you know, you tend to do it just to kind of a little bit screw with people, but then like if it works out, you can kind of screw with them more. It's kind of just like a joke. So like when I was
it's
on,
called,
like, for
it's called
instance,
like that because
And
there's a
it's
Victoria
called
player
that because
called,
of
I think,
Tyler Woolley.
Tyler Woolley,
Yes, because of a
that's
player in Victoria, Tyler Woolley, who's notorious. This is Ben's words. I didn't say this. Ben said this. Being a little bit salty at times.
Can
So, like-
I
So he had a
come in with
tendency to be
some
like, well, I'm
base?
done. And then he just slams a moat and wins. And he's like, oh.
Wooly,
I won.
Mr. Wooly was salty, but A, it's in his past, and B, he has
Yes.
asked the international community to not use that term because he doesn't
Okay, fair enough.
want to be used for that action.
Okay.
being
Perfectly
fair,
That's out
being
of the
fair,
bag on that one.
being fair, Benjamin Wheeler uses it on a regular basis.
Well, to be fair, Ben is.
he has to see his face.
Yeah,
he has to see
okay.
his
Ben also
personally.
knows this person fairly,
I don't know
right?
Wooly
So,
personally,
like-
so I don't get to say it.
All right. Well, I'll put it this way. Like, I don't need to use the term woollying, but like when I played, for instance, like Sui Black, like before some of my matchups, like against like Gosmit and against like Abzon, like mid range, like just annihilate aggro decks. I'm like, oh, you know,
Also,
good
you know
game,
the
buddy.
player's good.
Yeah, good game,
when
buddy.
the-
You got me.
You know the player's good when the joke comes down to the fact that they win in the end.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like, my thing is, like, I wouldn't feel bad getting known for that. I mean, if it was like, if like the term equated to like just being a piece of shit or being salty, I'd be like, I can't provide that, or I wouldn't like it, you know. But I've never met Mr. Tyler Woolley, so I mean, if that's their wish and we know that to be their wish, I mean, I'll try not to use
yeah,
it. But
for sure.
it's,
I need
it's so
I
ingrained.
need Arakasi and Croc to actually start their match so that they can start so that the hands start. Like I need for them to actually start and have their
I gotta
hands
stand
drawn.
up.
And
One of
then-
us has got it.
Yeah.
So, kind of jumping back from our light comedic relief there in the beginning, let's kind of talk this matchup, guys. So, I think this will actually be a fairly interesting matchup. I think it'll probably be
You
one
tell
of the
us when
tighter-
hand cams are working and we can leave.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk your hands. I don't normally tee. It's well underway, but so I think it's actually an interesting matchup. I think it probably will be one of the tighter matchups in the entire event, based on how things have fallen because of how both decks template against each other. They're both fairly mid-rangey. I think to some extent, Croc's deck will probably have a little bit of advantage going long due to the higher volume of value engines. That said, I think Arakasi's is capable of very powerful starts, and it also has some very powerful engines like Jace the Mind Sculptor that, if landed under protection or whilst Croc's under duress, can just obviously run away from it with the game as well. But I think they're fairly even matchup. I think it's probably at most a 45-55, a slight favor in the rug decks domain is what I would think. But I think it's a pretty close 50-50 matchup, which should make for good Magic as long as we get good variants and openers and all of that. So,
Yeah.
anyway.
The deck that Croc has brought to the table seems to be very optimized to go against another blue deck, as far as I can see, with answers like Veil of Summer and the better, cheaper.
All right,
spells
sorry to interrupt you. We're good to go. We'll.
All right, I'll exit the call then.
Yeah, please exit the
Discord
call,
one,
and
not
we
the
have ends
Google
for
one.
everybody. I now can see myself in Discord. Okay, never mind, not anymore.
Alrighty, so Arakasi's got a pretty good hand. I like the Bob. Okay, and who's on the play? Arakasi is. So this Bob's probably going to land. Not that that's something that Croc can't stop with red spells, obviously, but they're not going to have a counter spell for it initially. Okay, that was not a Mold of 5. I thought it was a Mold of 5. I was like, oof. That started off great.
So, if Croc keeps this, what you fetch? Because if you fetch for a third color, then you can't use your.
I think you just fetch for blue here. You don't need your third color.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of double blue spells in the deck. Like, you've got this Jace, you've got these counter spells. You probably just Wasteland turn 1, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially
I actually
if Arakasi's leading on this tap land.
Lead on the tap land, and then probably not be able
tapped
to pop.
type land.
Yeah, but it was a mulligan hand, so the Wasteland's gone away, which I agree with. I think you get rid of the Wasteland in that hand.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Not knowing your opponent's hand. Obviously, with the benefit of knowing the hand, you probably keep
that's not
like the logic mallet or this force, but that's not how it works.
Yeah, that's not the bet I would probably take. I mean, you fetch an island now. You have multiple different ways to filter cards through blue. You're a green X deck. You probably have a very high probability to hit green mana, especially if this Ponder into Jace.
And you don't have anything in your hand that needs green right now, so because green is mostly for threats. So
what I'm actually interested in seeing how this develops is I think we're going to see a Dark Confidant develop on turn 2, which is obviously a problematic card if it gets to stick around for a while. I'm curious to see how Croc plays turn 2 if they do not have the immediate answer to it.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not they leave up JVP, or if they play JVP, or if they try to leave up like the logic not. I think here you just
green mana.
Do you try to find an answer?
I would jam the JVP here.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I didn't have the immediate answer, if it's like a bolt right now, if he knows his top deck, right? So if it's a bolt, I mean, you just probably nail this thing, and yeah, it's not a bolt, so. I think I just JVP here to dig deeper. You assume some risk, but you've got a pitch counter, which is going to be able to hit Mu Yanling, or any like 3-mana Planeswalker, which I think if it also incentivizes a 3-mana Planeswalker play too, because you're tapped out. So I mean, your options are like reduced to Force of Will, Pact of Negation, Daze. So I think I like getting the JVP
for it. And yeah, the force really enabling him to let his shields down, kind of by tapping out.
Yeah, I mean, I think you almost incentivize the play, right? Like you know that 3-mana Planeswalkers are a big deal nowadays. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that can be played in this deck. And if you're on Arakasi's side, like you want to slam your